All right.
Here we go.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Here we are for some Tuesday Night Legacy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good night. Hopefully, we've got 18 players. Looks like.
Yeah.
I'm Nate, by the way. Kyra is on a vision quest with Brian.
Is that what they are?
They're in South Utah. That's like the land of vision quests with the Red Rock.
Vision quest. I like it. So yeah, we're gonna have 4 rounds. Oh, there's almost seeable. There's Brian himself.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Batu Sai, welcome in. We're getting pairings up right now, so we have a nice 7:07 start time. And
Now, did you play on Friday?
I did.
What did you play?
I lost horribly, is what I did.
My son is with us too.
Yeah.
Eli, you can go if you don't want to be on.
Definitely a vision quest. All right. We don't have anybody sitting down just yet, so we'll get that going.
You can come over a little later, bud. What did you play? You still on that?
No, I played. It was bad. Whatever it was bad.
Yeah.
It was a blue Dirtle and do nothing and then lose deck.
Oh.
And I got paired against Burn, and that's a bad matchup.
Yeah, for those multiple dual land blue decks, Burn. Ooh.
It was just bad. I don't even want to talk about it. It's like trying to do something like what blue white control does, but worse.
I was trying to get to Star City Worcester, which just happened this weekend.
Yeah.
I mentioned like a couple weeks ago that I had booked the flight because it was on sale.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to go from Salt Lake City to.
Yeah.
Pairings are up. It looks like. Last I believe is on Nick's Fit, isn't he? I saw an evolutionary leap. I think
Okay.
That's just people getting set up, bud. Thank you.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah. But there was a massive storm on the East Coast, and I was pretty sure my flight was going to be canceled, and then it never was. So that still meant I had to I wanted to use my window of time to get a free reschedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was on the phone with Delta for 4 hours trying to reschedule my flight, and finally did for the summer when I have to go on a trip with my family to Maine. So at least I've got that taken care of. But
nice.
What a day! And then I could have landed without a hitch, but I didn't really feel like at that point, knowing how messy it was going to be and that I was going to have to rent a car and drive an hour in the middle of the night.
Right.
Also hearing that people were landing at airports on the East Coast and just all vomiting.
Would you check for me real quick and see if they're sitting down?
Yes.
If our cameras are slow, because it sounds like they're right there.
Tables are full.
They're sitting down. Okay, so I just got to do a quick restart on our cameras. We have players sitting down, but we can't see them. That's neat. All right.
Do you get a reset on that? Is that how that works?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, there we go. Everybody's in. Thoughts on Brainstorm or Deathrite Shaman catching a ban? We should get to that later. Strong opinions.
All right, this is Les here. All right, we're going to show you some magic, and then I'll get names up here. So I believe we have Les here.
Bud.
So there's I messaged Brian. He said there's a remote for the thing that should be here.
Neat. Where is the remote, Brian?
Yeah. That's the trick.
I have not seen a remote.
Wait.
Yeah, it looks like a remote. It was, yeah, you can do it from there. All right, so it looks like Les is playing some sort of Nick Fit with Glittering Wish.
Interesting.
Or Nick's Fit with Glittering
pretty sure
Wish.
I saw an evolutionary leap that he was testing on the table, so I thought he was just playing Nick's Fit.
That could be. We'll find out. It'll be fun. We'll find out together.
Glittering Wish. That's pretty cool. Larry is playing World Gorger.
When the door opens
Dragon combo.
perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like pretty good timing. The door opened right as I was saying what he was playing.
All right, that should be interesting too. So we'll be able to jump back and forth to that. All right, so here we are. Les gets to start off. So we're gonna guess this is Nick's fit, but we'll change it.
It looks like there's a blue card in his deck, but I think that's just a foil reflecting off the light. Weird.
So he gets to start off with the fun ramp into Dryad Arbor.
Yep.
And I
love the new numbers.
Yeah, we're not going to have a Deathrite Shaman ban. I think it's funny how in Legacy, for whatever reason, after a GP or after some pro says, hey, they should get rid of Deathrite Shaman, suddenly there's this uptick in all this conversation about banning Deathrite Shaman. And it's the same conversation.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes away. And then it comes back. And then it goes away. But the reason behind it and for it hasn't changed, so... All right.
Unfortunately, I just don't think you can untangle a lot of what is going on right now without like it's a decade or more of printings and sort of meta shifts that have led us to the point that we're at now. So
cards like Delver and True Name Nemesis and
Gurmag Angler.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's not just Deathrite. Punishing Fire takes out of a Dryad Arbor some land destruction for Paul because he's playing lands.
I see Academy Rector.
Yeah, this is some Nick's
hand.
So this is a deck. Most of you in chat, the very few of you, you all know what this is. If you don't, I'd be happy to give you a breakdown on it, but you probably all have seen it a few times. Yeah, the Gurmag Angler ban is an interesting conversation.
That's the train I'm on. Gurmag Angler drives me crazy. Mostly because I've been playing that Hollow One deck, and I'm like trying to play like a 1-mana 4/4, and I have to like play Basking Rootwalla and Careful Study in my deck. But everyone else just plays like regular cards, and they get a 1-mana 5/5.
Sure. All right, we get a Collective Brutality. It looks like just one mode from Les. He's just going to Duress.
He's going to Duress, yeah.
And all the not good options. I guess you take a gamble here when there's 2 Crop Rots. Gamble's the thing that can go get Life of the Loam. Yeah, we haven't had anybody quite this young in our stream before.
I think you take the gamble just because he has 2 Crop Rotations, and at least Crop Rotation puts him down an extra card. Whereas Gamble is a little bit more dangerous. He can get a Life in the Loam, which would gain him cards.
Whenever I FaceTime,
yeah,
it's amazing how my kids just come running into whatever FaceTime it is and do the weirdest things that I never would have expected them to. I mean, now I do, but
yeah,
it's a great time.
He's okay.
Oh yeah, I don't mind. I'm used to it.
So this Maze of Ith is going to be interesting against Les's deck because it's not especially good against Lingering Souls.
Right.
You don't really see the other cards get into the red zone, and it doesn't kill with creatures. So.
Yep, not the strongest card here, but it's a Crop Rotation target.
Yeah, that's exactly
pretty much what that is.
It's in play for that, but it is interesting how Nick's Fit operates on this angle that makes a card like Maze of Ith that can be tough for a lot of other decks that are playing Bayou to deal with.
So I've actually played a version of Nick's Fit versus Paul on lands, and Paul knows what he's doing playing lands, and I felt really good about the matchup. Being able to quickly get out Overwhelming Splendor.
Yeah.
Dad, I need to go to the bathroom, but
You can take it to the bathroom. You can crack the door. As the table goes up, all sorts of things are happening. All right. So, as I was saying, just a minor distraction back here. It feels really good, this matchup, because Overwhelming Splendor just shuts down lands almost single-handedly, right? You can't activate a Thespian Stage. You can't activate a Dark Depths. If you do somehow already have a 20/20 Indestructible flying, it's only just a 1/1 that does nothing. And you can ramp fast enough to get there. Now, Les isn't doing that this game. Paul punishing, firing the Dryad Arbor makes it so he doesn't have the 4 mana necessary for a Rector, which he doesn't have anyway. In hand, it looks like he's got a lot of the expensive enchantments. Oh, no, he does have a Rector. He does have a Rector in hand. +2 enchantments. Okay. So, I think he's just down this game, unless somehow he's able to get a Cruel Reality out quick or an Overwhelming Splendor out quick. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, though. Some of these decks, we've played some number of Swords to Plowshares, so at least that's a stopgap here. If he tops that, if he has one. And Les just says, nope.
So we got the Mirror Age out.
Yeah, he just went too fast.
I did hear Larry say he did World Gorger combo.
Nice. So we'll take a peek at that.
So they're also shuffling up here.
Of course they
should be getting ready to go soon.
Of course they are. All right.
I believe June is on either Dredge or Reanimator. They're both graveyard decks, which is really interesting,
okay.
Right? And I'm assuming that because I saw an Elesh Norn in June sideboard.
And so Larry got game 1 because he comboed off.
Yeah.
So World Gorger has been around for a while, right? It came and went.
It went and came just recently back, right? Have you ever played it?
I've not played it.
I've never played it.
You get to make infinite mana, and it's awkward, right? The way you make the mana is you bounce all of your permanents. They all come back in because of an enchantment on World Gorger, which triggers the enchantment, like an Animate Dead. And then you make infinite mana. And what do you do with your infinite mana?
Usually, so the way it's working is you're sort of infinitely flickering an Animate Dead. So you need another animate target in your graveyard. That is usually Una, Queen of the Fae. With your infinite mana, you can bring it back and immediately exile their entire library and make some amount of fairies, but you don't ever need to attack. Larry said he used Walking Ballista, and I'm not sure how that works unless he played it on turn.
Yeah, you have to
you have to play it on 1.
But you also have an infinite draw engine in there, don't you? Can't you draw your deck?
Can you draw your deck with the Legacy version? The Vintage version, one of the lands you loop is Bazaar of Baghdad, so you actually mill yourself and then also draw your entire deck. I don't know Larry's exact list. I actually lent him cards, but I don't remember exactly the exact list. I had to look it up. Hi, Jorgensen. How's it going?
Regardless, you're just trying to get a Gorger in your graveyard with an Animate Dead or a not a Necromancy.
Animate Dead, Necromancy, and Dance the Dead.
Yeah, okay. So these guys are still shuffling. Our other match is also still shuffling. It's a great time. Yeah. Jorgensen got here right on time.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, here we are watching.
You got to watch my stream, Jorgensen. I had a fun stream last night.
What did you stream?
I've been streaming Hollow One.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here's something about Hollow One. I've played 8 leagues with it, and I played it at 2 weeklies. My record is 24 and 24.
Okay.
I'm exactly 500. I was 1 match under 500. It's the Frozen Divide. Sometimes Paragon will pick me up, and I usually try some late nights, like Sunday night usually. So I'm exactly 500 with various builds of that deck, it's super swingy, and it's like you're on a roller coaster and you just kind of end up back at the beginning of the roller coaster.
What? All hail the Bits leader. What? I think I was way ahead.
Yeah, that was earlier. You were way ahead. I have no idea how that works, to be honest.
Well, it's set up on their other one, and we can see it here in the Twitch chat. Yeah, see those 27 bits? I tried to go up to 16, and I didn't realize it was...
It just adds.
It added it all together. What's with the new badge? It's just your second place in the bits for the day, or since that started or something. So you have a silver... So, if you throw up just a few more bits, you too can have a gold badge, or you can take it from me. Man, we are in the shuffling stage.
Yeah.
Round 1 here.
Shuffle phase.
What is?
Both of the first games were so short, though. Yeah. I wonder if there's a psychological thing, though. I'm I'm way careless and shuffle real fast between. But it looks like we're gonna get
at the exact same time. We're gonna start them up. Let's watch a little bit of this World Gorger. I do. Me. I've got gold. It's special.
I can't really see June's hand.
All right.
It looks like no. So Larry, I see. Is that an engineered plague? No, is that a Cabal therapy?
We can
surgical extraction.
just not see the things. So.
Yeah. They're mulliganing.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
let's bounce over to our other match.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We have a veteran
Magic.
explorer in play. Punishing fire that, Paul.
Yeah, that's a little bit nicer. Turn 1 play from less for his side of things.
You okay?
Found all these.
Oh. Eli's into the miniatures games.
Yes, we have much bigger life. I'm curious to see. I haven't played with them yet, but I'm curious to see what they're like.
Well,
how annoying flipping those over is.
When you swords Paul's merit lage, it'll be a little easier to figure out where he's at.
Yep. All right, so Mox Diamond, Mishra's Factory, discarding a Dark Depths. There I go. Yeah. Feeling all special. I'm glad Kyra is quoting me even though he's not here. So Les wants to figure out a way to kill his. Uh-oh. 100? What? Bumping me into second place. Way to go.
Wow.
He has a.
That's a very aggressive cheer.
It's like $1.
It's $1. It's a penny a cheer. I thought you were saying earlier, like, oh, they were saying earlier rather, like, oh, it's like a penny a bit.
So he's got a Collector Brutality in hand. He can use that as a ramp. He's going to Living Wish instead. So here you could either get the Rector or you could go get a Phyrexian Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Tower gives you the sack outlet you need for also the Rector and also this Explorer. It depends on what he's got going. Oh, he's going
Reclamation
for a Rex
Sage
instead. So this is a neat little action. Our next fit build, we put a Rex Sage, 2 Rex Sages, so that there's always one in the sideboard even after sideboarding. So you can bring one in and still Green Sun for it, and then you have one that you can Living Wish for.
I don't know, buddy. Warhammer's not really my thing.
So here's a port from Paul, and he's going to pass the turn and port less.
That does make it awkward. It looks like, did he draw a Phyrexian Tower?
He did. I think he just drew a tower off the top. That's kind of what you wanted to see right there. That feels pretty good. Now he's probably wishing he got the...
Is that a Swords of Plowshares in his hand, too?
I don't think so. I think it's a Lingering Souls. Les is flipping them pretty quickly. So, right now, he's got access to 5 mana. The tower sacks the Veteran Explorer for 2. It goes and finds 2 basics that come into play untapped.
I thought I saw a basic in Paul's hand, like a mountain. I don't think that sounds right. Did they play a basic mountain?
He plays some number of basics.
No, he's got at least a forest.
I am the Bitmaster! Way to go, Batusai. Congratulations. Alright, let's see if
so it's like $5 to go up to 500?
Let's see if I can top you real quick. What do I have?
So he decided to go aggressively after this Mox Diamond, but he gave him mana anyway.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's weird.
Unless he's just thinking like this is value.
It cuts him off red.
But I don't think the red really matters as much in this matchup. This is going to be a crop rotation.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a crop rotation. He's got the mana for it. You got him?
That was a lot of work.
So he goes for Thespian Stage here. So if he has Loam, this could be another quick game. I'm trying to see if that looks like Lingering Souls. Yeah, I think you're right. It's not the Swords to Plowshares with the guy that's like got a
let me do it.
hoe or whatever on his back. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Because there's like 6 different swords.
Yeah.
No, not that many. 3. All right, let's see if this Rex Sage plan. I'm sure that if he had that tower in hand, he would have just gone and got the Academy Rector instead of that Rex Sage there. But let's see if
I'm a little confused by what he wanted to do on that turn.
Yeah.
Does he have a Rector? I guess no. Still Souls. I mean, I think there's a second Collective Brutality a second crop rotation in Paul's hand. So he might want to just
force the issue here. Yeah, it's
of course,
not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough because he's going to just use it in response and then make Merit Wage.
Yep.
So we're going to have another quick game. Float all your mana and then decide which land you want to sacrifice. Yep. I think lands is actually the best deck in Legacy. Going back to our little discussion earlier about banning Brainstorm and Deathrite.
Yeah.
And I think that lands having Tabernacle and being so important to the deck is holding it back. But I just feel like it's really the best
It's
deck.
really not that strong against Show and Tell, Reanimator, other combo decks. And those are popular. Show and Tell and Reanimator are popular decks. It's really good against Delver.
They're not dead. Like, a crop rotation for Bojuka Bog can happen against Reanimator, and Show and Tell. They have Caracas. They have a decent amount of game. And just the way it's so crushing to the fair decks, though, which make up a lot of the format, that they can overboard for the unfair matchups, which are never gonna be as high a percentage. So,
yeah, Les here gets to play Lingering Souls, and that's really all he gets to do.
The winner of the Open would disagree with you. I forgot who won the Open. Did he beat Lands on the way up or something?
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, somebody tops. Lands was in the top 8. Right?
Lands in the top 8
of the GP.
That's not to say that I don't think like Lingering Souls or not Lingering Souls, Grixis Delver is a good deck or anything like that. I just think Lands is the best deck, and it's interesting that it has to be sort of underrepresented.
All right, so goes ahead and sacks his Rex Sage to cast Lingering Souls and flash it back.
I don't know how many times he played Lands, but he called it out as a bad deck in his winter interview. What was he playing? Elves? The winner was playing Elves, or the... Oh, he had Blood Moon Elves. Interesting, though. I mean, like, Lands has access to Tabernacle and Wasteland for your Cradle when they have the Tabernacle out, and they have so many tutors for their lands.
Every deck I play is a bad matchup to land, so I always feel like it's just stronger.
Yeah, and Elves for that matter.
Yep. So we're on the attack for 20, kill some spirits game plan here, see if Les can draw anything. He's only, a land away from hard casting things?
And Cruel Reality would get rid of this Merit Lage.
Yep.
And Overwhelming Splendor would. So...
Paul had a Corrosion Grip, a K-Grip, but it got discarded to that.
Collective Brutality.
The brutality. The Duress. I was just thinking Duress with that.
Wasteland on the Phyrexian Tower, which is a good play. We're going to chip away at more tokens.
One more draw, maybe?
He's playing.
Nah.
This is not where you want to be. Come on, deck.
Adventuring Explorer is not going to get there. All right. So that's going to wrap this up in just a moment.
They're done.
Match is over.
I'm going to guess Larry comboed off again.
So I'm gonna try and find another match to put on camera.
And find out what happened in Larry's match.
We have 25 minutes.
Or
left.
I'll go.
Do you want to?
I can handle it. Yeah.
You want to ask people, or you want to stay here?
I'll stay here.
Okay.
I think you're more comfortable moving people around. Now who's in the big chair? All right. Did I just talk right into the microphone? That was really bad. Sorry, everybody. So we unfortunately do not know what happened in Larry's match, but I do know that he said something about walking ballista. Eli, would you like to sit in the chair and be part of the cast crew? This is my little guy Eli, everybody. We're gonna go pick up Mom from the airport after a couple of rounds, so I was sitting in to help out. Until then, gotta be careful. Don't touch those. Don't touch them. It raises and lowers the table, apparently. I didn't know that. I think Les was just looking to see if he was going to draw anything, which would have, I think, Cruel Reality, Overwhelming Splendor, which he maybe have been able to cast. I couldn't quite make out all of his lands, especially once the Phyrexian Tower was gone. Cruel Reality would have been the thing there, though. So while Bryce is looking for another, don't do it, another match. While Bryce is looking for another match, we can discuss the Star City Open a little bit, if anyone has any opinions after what happened with the Grixis Delver domination in the top 8. We're now getting this conversation, as Bryce was saying, about whether or not it's time to ban. Oh, we have another match?
Not yet.
Not yet. I was just saying we can start. Okay, buddy, you got to relinquish your seat now.
We're shifting everything. Thank you, sir. So we're gonna have Corey and Josh move over. They're in game 1.
Oh, they're in game 1.
So Josh, of course, is on Miracles. Corey's on 4-color, and they don't often play each other round 1. And it looked like from what I could see, Corey was going to get there with a Jace ultimate, but that was just game 1. So we're going to give them a little bit of an extension to move, and especially since they're going to want to be playing the next couple games pretty quick.
Yep. Jorgensen, people need to chill the heck out with the calls for banning. I try not to, and I think that unfortunately, the presence of Modern, which is a very aggressively managed format, and that Vintage has had a lot of restrictions, a lot of restriction activity. Of course, restrictions are not bannings, and that is a different sort of thing to deal with. Okay.
There's a spot. I like it.
Restrictions are not bannings, which I always like to point out, because there's always that sort of like, we can pull the trigger on this because you can always still play with it. Why don't you show them what you're playing with there, bud? Does anyone know what game this is from?
These are probably Brian's. They're probably not as inexpensive as some of the other ones.
Yeah, let's go back.
Brian's over here going, ah!
Where'd you get all that stuff?
So,
okay, let's put it back. Okay.
These guys are obviously done. I'm going to try and get Corey and Josh to move over here in just a minute. And we'll get another match for our 20 minutes left. I don't know, since I was setting up the stream, I don't know everybody that was in the room tonight. So I just went to the match that looked like it was still playing out. It would be interesting to show. As opposed to other interesting decks that might be happening.
You like me, bud?
We get to see Les's sideboard here. Some Ground Seals, a Maelstrom Pulse, 2 Swords to Plowshares, Grave Titan, Gaddock Teague, and then some of the other cards are there for Living Wish targets, or
Right now.
All right. Hopefully we maybe figured out some changes to the noise that was in here. my kids would have been way more distracting than Nate's. So I get it. People are going off about how it was like 30% of the day 2 meta or whatever, but if you banned Grixis Delver out of those same 30%, they would just set on the next best deck. Yes, and I think there's a difference between Miracles being 30% of the meta and a Delver variant being 30% of the meta. At least that's just my opinion. Miracles felt very effective at shutting things down and warping the meta. All right, let's see.
They're getting set up.
They're getting set up right here. Oh, okay. So these guys are on game 2, and I don't know who won.
You go to the car and get a headphone.
You can leave that cracked. Guess I will find out. We'll just keep getting up. Nobody wants your tier 2, tier 1 five that. We got a game 1. All right. So Josh got game 1. And wow. Spelling. Here we go. We're kind of fumbling through this Tuesday night legacy. Apologize to you guys, but it's more fun. It's more interesting, right? You'd even argue for 1.46 for what? What deck? Food chain? Yeah, and that's another huge part of it too, is how many other decks, like what happens to Maverick and Nick Fit decks if there's no Deathrat Shaman? Can they even exist? And then of course you get into the whole argument of, does reanimation just become infinitely too good? It's a much different conversation than banning top, for example. Do I want to know how you went last Friday Night Magic with Cheerios? I didn't care at all a moment ago, but suddenly I want to know how you went last Friday Night Magic with Cheerios, HGBT. Please tell me. Reanimation is justice. Justice for what? Quick overview. Yeah, when we played Cheerios on Magic Online and we won like 2 matches and almost a third. I think we almost went. Did we go 3 and 2 or did we? It was close either way. I felt like we just got lucky. Life is a resource. Reanimate holds. This is the truth to be self. HC Fox, you're getting way too deep here. You got to lighten up just a little bit. All right, so I've moved these guys over here. We're gonna give them a little bit of an extension because of it. Because when you're having to mulligan and stuff like that and move all the way across the room, it changes things. Yeah, I think we went 2-3. We've had a lot of 2-3s, but 1 loss was really unlucky. I think we've done that a few times.
You're still shuffling it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You're fine. As I was saying, my kids would have been way more distracting.
It's funny because the last time he just played this game, I would not be pretty well. Usually so shy.
Hey, look, there's a camera. Got lucky and win or cry. Yeah. It's just like a really fragile. Like if you're wanting to do that, why not play Charbelcher? Because it's just a better version of a glass cannon combo deck. Or Show and Tell, which is even a better combo deck, and it's not a glass cannon. Or there's other options. But it's kind of fun to go, haha, I'm playing really, really bad cards, and I'm going to win with them. All right, here we go. Round 1, game 2. I'm surprised Josh was able to pull it out from the board state I saw, but, and of course we're going to have a mulligan. Neat. So many of you guys were in watching some Legacy with me last night. We were watching the Card Kingdom stream. That was kind of fun to see you guys all in there watching. HC Fox was there. Captain QC was there. Who's Josh's commander tonight? I'm not sure. Ooh, Ujitai. I like it. I don't think so. I'm not sure if he's on Keranos or if he's on some Emrakul or if he's on just Jace plus Gideon. We've seen it all, right? All right, here we go. Finally, 10 minutes later, we've got some magic for you. Here's a Deathrite Shaman, a soon-to-be banned, not really, Deathrite Shaman. And these guys maybe are going to use the new life totals. I'm not sure. I'll try and keep track for you if they don't. They're going to try. Oh, they are. Cool. And they're going to quickly discover.
So Josh did pull that out?
So, Source of Plashers takes out the Deathrite Shaman. Yeah, I don't know how, but he did. He got there.
He's going to ponder. The foiling on the Deathrite makes it look so different that I keep thinking that it's a search for Azcanta, and that's Josh.
Ugh, nothing at all from Corey. Okay.
Well, his plan might just be, I see a Flusterstorm
and a Jace.
And a Jace, so
he's going to wait on a Jace to give some counter magic backup.
Yeah. Now, Jace, he's not going to, this Flusterstorm's going to be kind of less effective. He's got a Force of Will, though, that I see. So if he's got a 5th land and another blue card, he can... Does not appear that that's what happened.
So this is kind of a weird thing that happens in these Miracles versus Delver or 4-color matchups, is knowing when to pull triggers. Right?
Yeah.
Knowing when to go and when to be patient. I'm bad at it. I just, oh, I've got 4 mana, I'm going to run this out. No, you countered it? Great. It's much more aggro strategy, right? Which works if you're playing like Blue-Red Delver, not so much if you're on 4-color control.
And Josh has resolved 3 cantrips in this game. So Corey's got to know his hand is stacked.
He can just hardcast Force of Wills if he wants to. Here.
He can hardcast a Force of Will. So Corey's got to start presenting something. He's going to go to 19 here. The thing is, the longer you allow the Miracles deck to sculpt their hand, the farther behind you really get.
Yep, that's how it feels.
Your best, the old Miracles deck with Top had a bit of a stronger early game because it didn't have to use cards to sculpt its hand. So the best time to really get on top of it is early in the game. This looks like a Liliana. Yep.
Sure.
And that's a good one. So he can... So Liliana is 1, China Spell is 2, Flusterstorm would be 3, which Josh can pay for. So I wonder if this was to bait out a counter spell.
Yeah, I mean, having a Liliana stick is actually pretty good against Miracles.
Nope. Yep. Sorry, I meant yep, not nope. I think I see a Snapcaster Mage, and I thought I saw Force of Will, but it does not feel that he's going to... does not appear he's going to fight over it.
The Salt Lake City Metro Music Hall.
Where are you at, Jeff?
I don't think I've ever heard of the Salt Lake City Metro Music Hall.
I don't know, man. I don't.
Maybe he's in a hall and there's music playing, and so he just named it, christened it. Miracle still does have answers to Liliana, right? It's
Council's Judgment,
mostly,
which is assuredly in the deck.
Yeah. And when you get to cantrip as much as Josh has been and can,
and he's not shuffling his deck. Right. He's wanted all of his cards. This is going to be one of those situations where it's going to be very hard for Corey to put anything on the board at this point.
Yep.
Josh has at least a Brainstorm and a Swords of Plowshares. I know that much.
It's where you want to have like multiple Deathrite Shamans or something to have
There's
an effect,
the Jace.
and that's not.
So, if you prioritize Jace, now, I wonder if Josh can sort of identify that Flusterstorm is the card being held up here, which means that you would actually want to start out with Force on the Jace. I don't know if he's going to Brainstorm here, is what I'm saying. Because he's got a Brainstorm. Maybe a Snapcaster Counterspell. Yeah, and that's not matter. The best place to be. And that's gonna eat a Flusterstorm. So 1, 2, 3. Flusterstorm on that.
Flusterstorming.
Now I think we're gonna see a Brainstorm.
We have to stack all of the triggers and
Corey's moved his.
All.
Oh, he had the backup Flusterstorm. Okay. So
that all resolves, and there's a Snapcaster left.
So where are we here?
Josh's turn.
Yep, Josh's turn, and Josh used 2 cards, and Corey used 2 cards, so Corey didn't even get any card advantage out of that off something like a Force of Will. So
when Snapcaster works, it feels pretty good.
Yep. And now Josh has a Jace.
Corey has Force and no blue card.
Top.
Maybe? Ouch.
All right. Force no blue card. Toxic stays in versus Mirror Trolls must be Scared Mentor. I thought that was interesting too. I thought Toxic Deluge was a little bit much. He might have forgotten to take it out. I know I've been in that position where you draw a card. I'm like, oh, I thought I took this out. And you look at your sideboard and you say, oh, I thought I brought that in.
Yeah, it looks like, is it Marsh Casualties, Snapcaster, and then Toxic Deluge? That's a lot of Mentor hate.
Yeah, I can't tell exactly. I did see the Toxic Deluge though, Fox. Maybe he's a sick living plane tech. I think even that would be too much for
and a what's the sacrifice a creature or a planeswalker or whatever.
So he deluges for 1
get
to
that
get rid of Snapcaster Mage.
Oof.
And well,
that was neat. Maybe that's what the deluge was there for.
There's that too.
To the slaughter. Yeah. Well done. I mean, you could just play Dreadbore as long as we're just making up cards that aren't in either of these decks. He's got 4 angels.
Corey could have a Snapcaster.
He does.
Toxic Deluge.
He does have a Snapcaster in hand. So he's not completely, totally dead yet. Or does he have deluge? Maybe he just has another one in hand.
There's a Pithy Needle.
Ooh, okay. We're getting somewhere. I mean, Josh doesn't have just all counter magic, right?
I see a Fluster Storm. That doesn't hit Pithy Needle.
Corey goes down to 12 off the fetch land. Let's see if we can pull it out. He's not as dead as having 2020s attack your Lingering Souls tokens dead.
Well, I mean, he's pretty dead. I mean, he's literally dead on board unless he has a way to get rid of these angels. So, is this the second deluge? That would be pretty brutal. Yikes.
Alright, so he can pay for Fluster Storm.
Yep.
And so it resolves.
He's at 8.
Down to 8.
He's at 8.
12 to 8. Oh, great. He flips it over perfectly, and then it falls down on it. Can't wait for Snap and Treat X equals 2. Hey, don't get ahead of
I mean, your opponent's at 8. Why not? He could do that. He's going to get a Pithy Needle on Jace. So what's in Corey's hand?
Corey has a Snapcaster left.
So Snap and Treat would be good here. Now Corey's got his Jace, which of course is shut off by his own Pithy Needle.
I predict.
So Corey has a... Is that a Brainstorm? That's his other card? His name's Jace. Yep. Trying to count how many cards are in Josh's hand.
Just all of them. He's got like 15. And he hasn't even been able to activate Jace this turn.
He can't. Yeah, he's not going to be able to. So he's got some other tech. That's a 4.
Oh,
That's from the Ashes.
From the Ashes. So there goes all of Corey's lands.
Yeah, he's going to get 1 swamp out of it. So
he taps his basic land here.
I did that the other day. I tapped all 3 of my basic lands to play a Blood Moon. And then realized that I was thinking wrong. Like the wrong what I wanted to do, which was leave all in 1 tap. Argothian Enchantress. Thank you, or you're welcome. Or thank you. Thank you for watching. That's
for some reason, I'm not able to get us live on Facebook, and I'm not sure why that is. Try one more time. But I'm glad we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Twitch. Nope. Just Twitch and YouTube. Is it sorcery? Yes.
From the Ashes can be your commander. Snapcaster Mage?
Or it's Entreat the Angels. Alright, here's a Snapcaster. He's just gonna hope that Josh has only blanks in his hand.
Well, Josh has a Fluster Storm, so this From the Ashes is resolving 1000%. The thing is, you know, Corey's gonna have the pressure. You know, he's got an 8-turn clock. But I think Josh also has Swords of Plowshares. I think they're keeping Storm count too.
Mm-hmm. And Josh has some mana floating.
He's got a white and a blue. I don't know why he did that without. Maybe because he can't technically tap it if he doesn't get priority back, because it's his turn.
Da 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 da. You found it. That makes some sense. There's a little on-off button.
Here we go.
I think I forgot to put a title in it because I restarted it so many times. But
Storm.
there it is.
Fluster back.
So this is just an interesting stack. We're still here. This is off of the From the Ashes sorcery.
From the Ashes. And now Corey goes to get a swamp, a lonely swamp.
Yeah. And like the Grixis Delver decks play no basics. You know, the ones that we saw in the GP.
So if you can get 4 mana, we can wipe their board of lands. Get a bunch of untapped lands, which is just so precious. And now he's gonna swords it. He can ponder and predict, or just predict. Nope, counterbalance.
All right, so you can see the times counting down. We're gonna give them 5 minutes on top of this.
Yeah, because they've moved it.
So I'm gonna let them know.
Yep.
I'm gonna start the time for them.
An awkward moment when you realize you left in back to basics. There's a Thoughtseize. Oh. Just take a look to the left there. Make sure Eli's just watching the movie. He should be right at that table watching the movie. Good.
We got Patrick right there. So
back to basics. I wonder if he's even still playing it. I know he was, and I feel like I've seen it in play.
Is there even anything Corey can do? I mean, he needs to get.
No, he's up to 3. In Kolagon's command his own Pithing Needle and draw another land and play his own Jace. I don't think Josh has any 4s left because his Jace is on the board, his other one's in the graveyard. So
he can get back a Snapcaster Mage, right?
It's really just not. I don't think he's resolving another.
3 mana would be more likely than a 1 mana spell.
Josh looks like he has pretty far hands. I'm going to guess he means fast hands. Corey's way back and falls 4 Strix in a row. Yeah.
4 Strix in a row. That's a good idea. There's a Mentor. With some scribbles on it.
Yep. He's going to pass.
There's no way Josh has a counterspell in the... Ooh, he might not, actually. Does he have a Pyroblast?
Yeah. He's got some red cards I think is Pyroblast.
Alright, so this is kind of greedy. If you've got... Yeah. If you've got a K command, you had a pause. Okay.
You can Pyroblast. He's going to probably just swords it.
Yeah.
Makes a guy. It should be fairly academic for him to get to 10 here.
Yeah. There's so little that Corey can do. He's got a K command in hand, right? So if he's somehow able to do 2 damage to the Mentor without any spells being cast,
I don't think he's gonna untap. No. So that's 4, and he does have 4. He has another J. So what about the 4 on top? Double Pyroblast.
Oh, can only 1 Pyroblast.
Yeah.
Plays a bunch of spells.
Mentor.
Gets prowess.
Mentor does it.
Gets there. Alright, so Josh wins 2-0.
Death of a Challenge, such a valuable card. Look how good that was.
That's the end.
Look how good it was in that matchup.
Round 1.
It's the tendrily things on all the cons, FRF manifest arts. Interesting.
Those scribbles are actually alter artwork. Nope, that's his signature.
Yeah, sure. My signature is really bad too.
Is it Howard at Line? Is that who does Mentor?
Is it?
Or is it somebody else?
It was in Provo.
Yeah.
Or maybe like Spanish Fork. He like hangs out.
It looks like Howard's signature, but it's not, is it?
Yep, S-T-E-R-Y.
Very.
It's E-R-Y, but that's.
I was close. No, it's absolutely not.
It's Magali Villanueva.
And
Villanueva.
She wrote her entire name, or he wrote his entire name in that signature. That's a great signature. I like it.
I forget that Mentor is restricted in Vintage.
Just recently too,
Yeah,
right? Just changed Vintage a little bit.
So we had lands win. We had miracles win. Where's our Star City guy to tell me what lands did?
Right.
No, he didn't beat Nick's Fit, but
all right. So we are going to have round 2 here very shortly. We should always have a 1 round get a time extension. That's a good idea. That way.
I'm very curious to know what happened in Larry's match. I'm pretty sure his opponent was playing Dredge.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see. For sure, when they mulliganed 3 times.
I'm assuming that if Larry won game 1, he also won game 2.
Yeah, because
he had a surgical in his opener, and Dredge was mulliganing, which is really bad for Dredge when they're mulliganing. Anyway, because they might, they're mulliganing like, well, I'll keep this Dredger. Table. Let's see if we get Larry in here.
Yeah, if you won. Calvin versus Crystal. Crystal's on a Eldrazi post, I believe. And Calvin's usually on some Delver version. Ray, who I believe is playing
Ray versus Terry.
Lands versus Terry.
Terry has been playing 4-color.
He's changed it up. I've seen 3 different decks, whether it's Grixis or Sultai or 4-color.
Now, are you planning to go to Seattle?
I'm not sure.
I feel like everyone's practicing for Seattle, and I'm playing Hollow One. I will say, I tried to play Esper Mentor the other day, and I just couldn't get anywhere with it. So it either felt unbeatable, or I played against Eldrazi, and I just got destroyed. Eldrazi was bad, and then like Blackroot Reanimator on the lose a die roll. They have Chancellor, 2 games in a row. So that didn't work.
I would struggle with Esper Mentor for sure.
It's a fun deck though. Like Mentor's super fun.
I'm glad we can keep you awake. We'll just keep going. We'll just go 10 rounds tonight.
We'll go 10 rounds?
Just to keep you awake. I like it. There's some, like, Esper Bomberman would be fun.
Yeah.
There'd be some fun things you could do there.
I get caught up in, like, what I don't want to lose to, Very often that's Blood Moon. So I try and play decks that are good against Blood Moon.
For quite a while there, I was getting sick of losing to lands, and so I kept like adding cards in the sideboard just for that matchup. And it's like, you Vapor Snag one time, and you go, yeah, there's my sideboard tech. Oh, I still lost.
Esper Mentor is a problem with 12 creatures at least, and tapping out to cast a Mentor with only about 2 cards in hand. My build, let's see. I think I only have 3 Mentors. I only own 3 Mentors, so I didn't buy a 4th one online, so I would know what I was doing. 4, 8, 11, 13. I have 13 creatures, so there you go. But I also have 2 Lingering Souls, which is pretty funny.
Let's just call it Eldrazi. All right.
As a way to like present a threat that you can then flash back and turn your Mentor.
Let's show you guys Calvin versus Crystal. We haven't seen Calvin in a little while on camera. We've seen... we'll maybe be able to jump over to Ray versus Terry if this match goes quicker.
I think we're guaranteed to have 2 decks that we haven't seen already. I really can't understand decks that play both Mentor and Terminus. The thing about Mentor is that its closing speed is intense. It's like, we saw that there, Ikoria was only at 10, but you can really... I mean, I think I took a guy from 33 to 0 in 2 turns with Mentor.
Yeah. It's amazing how crazy it is.
Bryce's pet deck is Nick's Fit.
So Nick's Fit is, I would say it's more Kyer, the guy who's often here with me on Tuesday nights. That's his deck. I've played it, and I've played with him on Magic Online quite a bit with it, so I'm familiar with it. I'm more of a Delver player, or some variation of Delver.
Yeah, and I usually play some sort of weird brew. I like to sort of take decks that are actually good and take them apart and then mash the parts together into something horrible. Recently I've been playing Hollow One Vengevine decks, but when I have to play a meta deck, I'll play something like Esper Mentor or Rug Delver Maverick or
So
something.
if you were gonna play in a GP, would it be a Reg Delver? Would you play a tier 1.5 deck?
Usually in GPs I play Mega Stuff and Treat the Monks.
Yeah.
That's a funny way to put it. I had to untangle what we're talking about.
I like that mentor.
Usually I play like mid-range type decks.
So Crystal saw a pretty decent opening hand, right? Eldrazi Temple, Mimic. She had another Eldrazi Temple. Unfortunately, got wastelanded. But still, going Mimic has the potential to just blow out. Calvin goes down to 18.
Calvin choosing to wasteland on the draw. This is going to be he's got the second one, so there we go. But now she's going to attack for 4. If she has no lands, the best case scenario is that he takes 4. You know?
Right. This might work, and it might just not.
She has another Mimic or Jite. Oh, Chalice on one. So now he's definitely not doing anything next turn.
Yeah, now I think he's just dead.
He could have Force here. I don't think he does.
Looks like he has a handful of 1-drops. The old Eldrazi Mimic beatdown. 2/1s are really good in Legacy.
Yeah.
Right? Crystal's got 2/1s, and Calvin has.
They're basically Savannah Lions. She tapped 1 land, she put a 2/1 into play, and he just scoops it up. And she had a Jite right there, so that was just gonna get way worse.
That's great. All right, we're gonna show you guys our other match here. We've got Terry. We've seen Terry a bunch, and like I said, I've seen him a couple different decks. I'm calling it 4-color now. I have no idea. He might just be on Grixis. We'll find out. Ray on the other side is playing lands. I believe it's a little different build than what Paul is on. He might not have any Richardon ports. He may or may not have Mishra's Factories. But
it's a good question how close they keep their decks. Terry has already eaten a wasteland here. I see a Hymn to Torok. And a Ponder. Looks like a Brainstorm Jace. So I would guess he's gonna have to try and get a basic.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Sposio, for saying lands is the best deck of the format.
The games either suck or they suck. That's how I feel about lands, actually, because my lands matchup is always bad.
I'm trying to think the last time I felt like I had a good lands matchup.
When you were playing Show and Tell? Was that when?
Yeah. Not really my style. Oops, someone's coming in. I think that might be Eli. Trying to guess at the code. You can't do that, bud.
Alright, Terry drops down a Baleful Trace. The Rest in Peace Helm control deck has a pretty decent lands matchup. It's true, actually. Sure. I get to play an energy field and you can't hurt me. Or I get to play an ensnaring bridge and you can't hurt me. Alright, Ghost Quarter during draw, seems like, or maybe upkeep. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Alright, we're gonna jump back over to Eldrazi versus Grixis, and then we'll probably come back to this matchup over here, since this could go very quick.
Rip Helm has a decent lands matchup, yeah.
You get to play things that stop 2020s from attacking or doing damage.
Why is he playing with lands in front? If he's still doing that when we cut back, I'll go tell him.
No, we just let him do what he wants. We haven't stopped him yet.
This is regular. I actually don't think we have to say anything.
Nope. Most people who are watching are fine with it too. It's a little different when I very much understand if you're watching a standard or even a modern GP why you would get confused. Most players who watch Legacy they remember playing against somebody who played with their lands in front, right? And
it was a hard habit for me to break when I came back.
Oh yeah, you were a lands in front player.
Oh, I think we're gonna see a Chalice here. That's gonna eat a Daze. So Calvin is playing Grixis Delver, most likely.
Yeah.
every matchup is not 100% right. That is actually a good point to remember.
Like the really good ones are still like
You still lose,
70% or something like that.
Like sometimes you like get. Is Crystal playing her name too late? He's talking about Crystal Bane.
I don't think so.
No, she doesn't. I think she's got a nice full standard build here.
Thought Not Seer is going to eat another Daze. Daze with a Deathrat Shaman? Okay. You're going to run that.
But you can win 4 out of, we win 4 out of 5 matches, right? I think someone said Jim Davis beat like 5 Grixis Delver players in the Swiss at the Open, and then lost to it in the top 8. Like, well, sure, but he beat 5 out of 6,
and that was
that's pretty good.
His Miracles build
with his Miracles deck that had 1 dual land
and no counterbalance.
I didn't look at his list. I know that he had Back to Basics main, and that was his big thing.
Yep. When you're playing against a whole bunch of decks that have no basic lands.
Yeah. Half of that top 8 was Grixie B. Grixis Delver is difficult to interact with because the angles of attack are so varied.
Here's a really cool Judgment Pact foil. Cabal Therapy. And Calvin names. Whoa.
Oh, what do you think it was? Target player reveals and the top card of their library.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That is a card, but I don't know which card it is.
Interesting.
I wonder what the name was here. Come on, HC Fox, you can pull it. Psychotic Haze. Nope. That's not it.
So you can prey upon them with Food Chain? Yes. Okay, so we know Crystal drew a Wasteland. Interesting.
Psychotic episode.
Not to
good pull, Fox. That's good. That's encyclopedic knowledge right there. So she went for a Chalice. He dazed it.
Daze number 3? Wow. Okay, so Crystal had a Wasteland in hand, which could have prevented that Daze from working. But playing for the 3rd Daze is not likely. Here's a 5/5. A 1 mana 5/5.
1 mana 5/5. Is that fair?
It's more fair than a free 4/4.
Is it? I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I mean, you only have to build your entire deck around making sure you
can do it.
Discard several cards each turn.
Basking Root Walls in my deck. That's not fair. It's not fair to me. So she's gonna go to 19, and then we're gonna get another group of people figuring out. Oh, he's gonna just ride. He's gonna try and ride this Gurmag Angler to victory here. Which, I mean, he's got no graveyard. I see a Mimic and a Wasteland, so there's gonna be a Wasteland and a Mimic.
This seems very brave. I'm not sure if it's smart.
I would definitely Wasteland here unless you have Endbringer. 2, 4, 6, yes. She's
gonna pass the turn. Leave some mana up. Looks like Calvin Drew has an Underground Sea and a Volcanic Island anyway.
Yeah.
Good evening, Famine. Welcome in. Alright, so swing for 5 and pass the turn. Hey, look. More lands.
2. Oops. Blight Herder. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8.
A Wormcoil Engine. Okay.
So those didn't tap. Those Eldrazi temples did not tap for 2. So now that's a 6/6.
So here's
trigger on the stack. It's going to eat a bolt.
Yeah.
Is a 6/6 for 6 fair?
Right. It's going to work here.
Also gains you 6.
It's going to work. That 5/5 is looking really small now. That zombie fish is not going to get it done.
Yeah, it's very Angler is subtly very format defining.
Yep. And the card that used to match up pretty well against it was Goyf.
Yep.
Right? But Angler actually has a pretty good way of canceling out Goyf. because you're able to delve away cards that maybe give Goyf that
This is
extra power and
interesting.
toughness.
Is that a murderous cut?
This is a dismember.
That's a dismember.
It's a
So she only gains 1.
promo dismember.
No. Whoa. Oh, he blocked. Okay, duh. So now she gets 2 guys.
But it still has Death Touch. So I think he did not block.
Oh, so he went for dismember and bolt.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet 2 for 0.
Alright, so 1/3/3 lifelink, 1/3/3 Death Touch.
Crap tier legacy is the most real format. Legacy with tier 1 not allowed.
We've been playing
That's an abrade.
a significant amount of that.
And now if he just killed the death touch one.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep.
Alright, so Crystal's going to go down to 7. Wormagerd, it's a death coil.
So she's effectively taking 2 a turn here. I would.
Ooh.
So he's got a Stymian Spirit Guide in hand, so.
And this is a Jitte? That feels pretty good. I mean, just about anything to draw there is pretty good.
Take it down to 2. Or down to 12, rather. And she.
Yeah.
And she went up to 10.
Gain
So that was definitely that he killed the death touch one. There's a bolt, and
yeah, Bolt doesn't get it done now. Grixis is so dead. This is great. We found the answer.
Yep, Magicide, that is right. When I was playing that fairies deck for a while, I played Go for the Throat, which is good, but you know, sometimes you gotta use it on other stuff. Nice abrade. I would wasteland this volcanic when she untaps, just so he can't access any other artifact kill he may have, or bolt. Attacking is.
The abrade was a good play. You can't expect a Jitte off the top.
He's got a bolt in hand, so what she really needs to do is wasteland before she attacks.
Even if not, she can just pump.
Okay, so he's not going to. I thought he was going to lead the angler back to block, which would telegraph. It would at least trade them off. Other Eldrazi Temple.
Yeah, there's really no reason not to wasteland here, but okay.
Because she's going to gain life, so she's going to. He's going to take 7.
Crystal's taking, removing 1 counter to pump, and then removing another counter to pump, giving Calvin a moment. But since she's doing it one at a time, I'm pretty sure Calvin doesn't have a window to bolt the 3/3. All right, so a huge life swing there. 7, right?
Well,
7
it's
power.
funny. Jorgensen or Fox is pulling the
Gates of Phyrexian for Action Tribute.
yeah. What am I looking for here? He's pulling the deep cuts. Deep cuts are coming.
Fox
out.
likes to do that. If you ask him about like a normal card, he has no idea what it is. But if you ask him about a really weird, obscure card that nobody's ever heard of,
Yeah.
perfect.
Phyrexian Tribute would be. Well, I guess you just play. I was gonna say it'd be good in your Young Pyromancer deck, but I guess you just play a red card.
I've seen the Worm Coil token, at least the art for it. I haven't seen the actual. I don't think I've actually seen it, the real token. They're great. All right, so here we are again.
So she can shrink and plus actually here, right? So you can shrink the Angler to a 4/4 and then bump up the Worm to a 5/5.
Yeah, but Calvin telegraphed that he has a bolt in hand by asking about the timing there, so I don't think that's going to happen. We get a Sting Twin token. We do, but it's
There was an opportunity for him to bolt, which he might be figuring out. So he's gonna let his Gurmag Angler die, and then in response to the trigger.
No, this doesn't work. I don't think it's...
No, he can do it like so. Let's say she removes the stuff, makes it a 7/7. Everything dies and everything resolves. Then the GT trigger goes on the stack, and he can bolt in response.
Oh
to
yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Most decks can't play Dismember. Most decks can't play Path. I can hear them saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right
Okay.
response.
So
Of course, it's 24-4.
Yeah, Crystal gains a whole bunch of life, and strangely, she's got a deck full of creatures.
Yeah, I mean, her deck is, majority of it's going to be gas at this point.
And still, you could Wasteland here. Still, there's no reason to cut Calvin off. Like, this point
Reality
would have all
Smasher.
been mute if it wasn't for that red. Right?
And
Okay,
that's it.
Crystal gets it there.
Crystal got it 2-0. And now we'll go back to our other.
Our other match is probably in game 3.
Would you like me to go check?
No, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
It might not be. This might be game 2. Maybe that was a really long game 1. It is kind of fascinating seeing some more Dismembers when you're expecting a lot of Grimake Anglers. Dismember becomes a more viable card.
I'm playing Lightning Axe.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I really wanted to play Firestorm, but Firestorm is really hard to kill Gurmag Angler with, so playing Lightning Axe.
And that's a good.
It works.
Yeah.
Lightning Axe is discard your Vengevine.
Could do some fun things there.
R&D didn't think the Stang Twin over too well.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the new art on Stang.
Oh, token.
Yeah.
I see. I get it now. This is Utah Fox. You really got to spell stuff out for us. It's a drug reference.
It's got a Bob Marley token.
Shouldn't it just look like Stang?
Yeah. It's the new art, right? So. Gold cards down here at the bottom. After all of the comments, wow, this spoiler got a lot bigger now that everything's in here. So here's
Stang.
Here's Stang.
Yep.
I'll show you guys here in a minute. And here's.
I don't think it looks like Bob Marley.
Nah, not so much. There's Stang. Right there. And here's his token. His twin.
Do you really think that looks like Bob Marley? I don't get that at all. Do I not know what Bob Marley looks like?
That's a great
That's a
response.
good question, right? It's really not hard to... Oh, are you saying that you can...
You can alter it?
That does not look like Bob Marley. Looks kind of like Mace Windu.
These guys are done? Is that what's happened? Or did I just jump it back to
This,
Seventh
this
match?
is an interesting thing. Like, lands...
Oh, here we go.
Okay, I was gonna say, okay. That went fast. I was gonna say, like, lands can get a fast Merit Lage a couple times out in a row, though. You never know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can have it really quick.
And that's just the end of the game.
We've still got lots of time left in this round.
Jorgensen, it's possible the new Teferi might be in some sort of art we've seen to promote Dominaria.
I know.
Or is he, like, in the art of something? I can't wait to Imperial Recruiter for Tony. You like the new life thing? That's pretty sweet. Though they're kind of off camera.
Yeah.
They might have moved them.
We got these giant life totals perfectly in place so that they're just on screen, and then they move them off screen.
Because Terry likes to use this playmat.
Longer playmat, yeah. Alright, so Ray has the play. So Terry has at least a game.
Yep.
I'm going to update that to being 1-0 for Terry. It might be 1-1, but I don't know.
What do you guys about Sasser from the SCG of the St. Lands irrelevant against Grixstalford 4-color decks? Wasn't he playing elves? How would he know? I don't know. I don't know what this guy was playing.
I always feel like lands destroys me when I'm playing Delver.
I mean, this is just...
So here's a Molten Vortex out of the sideboard, which is going to wreck just about anything Terry plays. I'm not actually sure if Terry's on 4 color, but I think he is. He might be on.
Would he really
Grixis.
have gone for the non-basic there on the draw? I would have. I mean, I guess like you could think he could have Wasteland or Ghost Quarter.
Yeah,
But jeez.
you just guess.
But you at least have a second. He's got another land, so I guess it's not that big a deal. Sasser won on Grixis Delver. He claimed to have steamrolled lands in top 8. I mean, I've beaten lands with these kinds of decks. Like, it's not 100%.
It just doesn't feel good.
And it's very close.
Mm-hmm.
I beat lands from no permanence with Grixis Delver once.
So lands can
Okay.
just lose to itself,
Yeah.
right? Lands can just kind of dirtle and do nothing if it doesn't get the right combination of cards.
Is he going to him here?
Um,
Or is this a Baleful Strix?
Terry's played hymns against me recently, so I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
thought I saw it in his hand.
It's not usually the strongest play against lands.
It's
but-
definitely
okay.
Baleful Strix.
That dies to a Molten Vortex pretty
Yeah.
effectively.
It's also a 20-turn clock, which I don't think Ray really minds.
This is the beginning of the end. So Terry wants to find a True Name Nemesis pretty quick, but you're right. I think he's just going to get Mind Destructed.
He's in loam.
Yeah.
So this is... He's never going to get to... And this is going to force this? He could. I don't know if he has a force. I can't tell. I see a Surgical Extraction.
Surgical Extraction's all right.
He could hit the Wasteland.
And that's how we saw Grixis beat lands in the SEG, right? Is some Surgical Extractions. And they have to be on time. They have to work right. Lands has some nice backup in the form of cycling lands.
I don't think you can allow Wasteland to go back to Ray's hand. Like in this position anyway. Like even if you want to, he's letting him do it. Look, you got to do what it says in the card. You search their library, they shuffle it.
Right. Mismatched wastes. So what you
I
do?
think Ray is doing that as a joke.
What
think
you
he
do
told
is
us.
you pick one of each promo, then it's okay.
Yeah,
One of each.
he's gonna get Ghost Quartered anyway,
Yeah.
and he's still got a loam. But you could not let the Wastelands go back to his hand. I mean, you're never gonna get another land down.
And now you're.
It's likely he has a basic, but
A
go
Teferi.
for the Tassiger.
A Tassiger. We're always talking about Teferi. Let me say Teferi. What would be really nice is a Snapcaster into a Surgical Extraction.
Yep.
But he needs another man.
I
for that.
see. Nope. Nice try. We're coming in hot.
Ponder. Ooh,
There's
there's
another surgical. Well, he might steal this.
Yeah.
Drawing all the surgicals is a way to win.
Yep.
And I think if you're drawing this now, you just hit the loam.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
This is going to be the most savage crack. Does he have it in his hand? I wasn't looking. I was looking at Tony or Terry.
And maybe Terry knows exactly what Ray has, but he's still got to show him his hand.
Yeah.
That's
He might.
strange.
Terry just might have said, "You have to show it."
Yeah.
Maze of Ith. That's good against Tassiger.
Still on the Baleful Strix beatdown plan here.
Abrupt Decay for that Molten Vortex.
Now that Deathrat Shaman in Terry's hand gets better looking too.
-1 loam +1 burning wish.
I like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna surgical extract all my stuff? Okay. I'll go find it with my my burning wish.
Thespian stage. You gotta untap that target attacking creature there, my pal.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. It's just tapped for fun. For funsies. Alright.
Dark Depths?
2 Delvers
Yep.
does something.
What a game. What a game.
Yeah, I'll just pull this win condition off the top here. How about an answer?
A Diabolic Edict? I'm gonna guess that's probably what Terry's on here. I don't think we know the score. He's taken a few hits off Baleful Strix.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah, you can't counter lands.
That's what's so
I saw
fun about this deck.
I saw someone say that there needs to be a cavern, but for instance in sorceries. And I was thinking, have people really never seen Bosechu? Like,
there absolutely is one of those.
is Terry thinking he can go above 20 and at least last a couple hits? But I believe everything has been delved away.
There's the one.
Oh no, there's the Baleful Strix. Okay.
Yeah, so he can take one hit.
Not only does he
that
put
way.
his lands in front of his creatures, he puts his exile zone behind his graveyard.
Oh,
hi, Captain QC.
He doesn't want to gain 2 life, even though he could there. He'd rather just scoop it up. All right, so now let's discover if that was game 2. Looks like it was. As we have some shuffling going on. So we get one more game from these guys.
He doesn't look at their D sideboarding. So it was game 1 that Terry won, and then game 2 he had double surgical and lost. That's the thing, you know. It's just how it goes, right? You win a game you probably don't have much business winning, like game 1 against lands, you know, with your all non-basics deck, and you lose game 2 when you draw almost all your sideboard that you brought in.
Right,
you know?
right.
Probably brought in a couple surgicals, probably brought in a couple Diabolic Edicts if there isn't just one in his main deck.
And I think that's how I would have played that. I think I would have surgicaled the wastelands, and then luckily found another surgical for loam. When lands is working, it feels too powerful. Sure. Especially when you're a Delver player.
When you sit down against Paul and he always has Mox Diamond or Exploration. I don't think I've ever played against Paul and had him like not start out with turn 1 Accelerant.
Yeah, not Dirtle for a minute.
I did beat him. I did once. I don't know if that was on camera. Excavator Wasteland him. Remember that?
Nice.
I don't know if you were here. Maybe that was Kyra.
Here's a turn 1 Inquisition.
He's gonna take Tireless Tracker. So his hand's 6 lands and Tireless Tracker, but it does have a winning combo in it.
Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, Ghost Quarter, a Grove, and then 2 fetch lands. What do we think?
It's not Revelark, it's that other elemental. Amoebic something or other.
What?
I'm going to assume that's Revelark on Ray's Plano, but isn't it like Amoeboid Changeling?
I have no idea. Is that a magic card?
Yeah. Look at this. This rips the exploration.
Exploration off the top.
Now, you have to counter this if you're Terry, because otherwise you are dead on turn 3.
If you have a counter spell. If he has a force of will,
this is another thing about lands. Do you keep in your counter spells?
No.
Because their turn 1 Accelerant is, you have to stop it.
It's
you
also
cannot let them
the
have
only
it.
things you can counter, though. Nope.
So this, he could upkeep Ghost Quarter. Well, I guess it doesn't do the same thing that I thought Wasteland did. What do you think about restricting cards in other formats in Vintage? So, Bryce, did you play when they restricted cards in Standard in the mid-90s? You remember this time period?
What were some of the cards that were restricted?
Balance was restricted. Zurin Orb was restricted. Him to Torok was restricted.
But it was for a short period of
Fox,
time, right?
Jorgensen. You guys remember any notable restricted
ago.
cards? It was before. I want to say it was before Mirage came out.
Yeah.
It was when I would have been 13, and I remember just reading about it in Inquest.
I think it has a. There's more things to discuss there than banning Deathrite Shaman in Legacy.
The answer, the way I feel about it, is just like the point of Ivory Tower. There you go. So they restricted him and they restricted Ivory Tower, but Necropotence was unrestricted.
Yeah, Necropotence. Yep.
Necropotence, yes.
Yep.
I do know how to pronounce it correctly now in my old age. I started around Mirage, I never played Standard. Yeah. We always played Type 1 because we all had one Demonic Tutor and we didn't want to, and one Soul Ring. We didn't have any power. We had a Demonic Tutor and a Soul Ring from our, like, you know, revised stuff, and we had dual lands, so we're like, oh yeah, we're Type 1 players. Then we'd show up to a tournament and get steamrolled. Unfortunately, I don't think you can really restrict, like, the Vintage restricted list. The goal is to cards that should be hurled into the sun get at least a chance to be played as one-ofs, you know? The kind of cards that, those cards are all banned in Legacy for the most part, and if you start restricting in Legacy, you just have that weird, like, the line gets so fuzzy. Or what's a banning? What's a restriction?
Right.
You know?
And then there's lots of other weird things too. Like if you restrict a card that would be otherwise banned, then you also have to ban all the wishes, because that's an auto 4-of in your deck. And like if you, what's the red shoal?
This
that's banned, right?
in Modern.
And it's banned in
Banned in Modern. Blazing Shoal.
Right. You just be able to search for it or whatever. I don't know. I haven't put any thought into this at all, but
I can see what that is in Terry's hand. I wonder if Ray's gonna just go for it here. He's not under any pressure.
I think Terry drew a surgical extraction, but you need to have an extraction plus an edict for this to work. So he's just gonna wait.
I think Terry's gonna wait. See, I don't like letting him draw more cards. Unless... You know what I mean? Like, the chances are lowest now that he's gonna have it, you know? It's only gonna... The chances that he has it increase every time he draws cards.
Yep. This would be the hardest part about playing lands, I think, is knowing when to... I've seen players that have winning on board. They have a 20/20 they can create, and they wait because their opponent has a full grip or a semi-full grip.
Is Blazing Shoal a bad surge of strength?
Yeah, it's just not good.
No, Blazing Shoal is free. Surge of strength you pay and discard. Baleful Strix, now he's got a blocker, and he drew another card. Now, if Ray just thinks he's got surgical, and he doesn't want to lose all of his... dark depths.
Okay, so a Tassiger and a Baleful Strix from Terry. Just running out a clock. Okay. There's also just not much you can do when you're looking at a 20/20. You either have answers or you don't.
Surge has trample, though. Blazing Shoal just gives them +X+O, huh? Maybe I'll bring that next week. I'm going to find some Blazing Shoals. Bring some Blazing Infect.
Punishing Thieves. Oh yeah, we've seen it. We've seen Clash play it. We've played against them online. I've played it. I built it and played it. Calvin here has built it.
I've played it.
Yeah,
I played the earlier version, like an earlier version that my friend Tim put together before it had a good name.
I like a lot of things about it. it also feels not as good. How about that? Sometimes I was doing things that just didn't work.
I got away from it because I felt that Punishing Fire was not a good card against Leovold.
Yeah.
And Leovold's kind of gone away.
Yep.
Minifer, Josh was on last round.
Yep.
You could have seen him resolve it from the ashes.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised
brutal.
if you go back and watch the video, we had him jump in after some other matches ended early, so he's at the end of round 1. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in round 3 or 4 or both.
Floating.
Sometimes the DAC feels really good when you get it resolved and you're doing things with it, and other times it's just meh.
Night's Whisper.
Yeah, Terry plays a 1 of Night's Whisper,
and it looks like that's it.
And he doesn't find anything with it. So 2020's win, flying indestructible.
They cannot be destroyed.
So now we've got 10 minutes left in this round. Last time I went and found another match, but we had quite a bit more time than this.
Yeah. I'm going to have to leave. I got to go to the airport, so I'm going to clean up what Eli messed up in here.
Right on. Well, thanks for joining me, Nate.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I can't stay longer, and I'm sorry my son was...
That's perfectly fine. Tell me what would be... So you've been playing Crazy Madness things. What would you play? What would you have played today if you had a deck put together?
I would have played Hollow One today.
Okay.
I was going to play. I was gonna play Esper Mentor and start practicing it for real, and I played it a couple times online, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get a positive record in the leagues, so it needs a little bit of work. And then I played the Hollow One deck, and it just felt great. But it's very swingy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's got.
I got turn 2'd by Storm twice, and
there's several decks that'll happen.
Yeah, that sometimes it just happens, you know.
Yep.
But I beat Miracles twice and did not lose a game.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Nice.
You know. Just was able to sort of
just avoid the terminus.
Well, you know, you can't avoid it. You can't do anything about it, right? I found that I was able to just sort of navigate. Like I said, that's why I sort of was talking about when they were on earlier, that the early game for Miracles is the best time to jump on them.
Yeah.
And a couple times, you know, my Miracles opponent would have Basic Island, Volcanic Island, right? Well, he has no white mana. That's a perfect time to just spew out onto the board, get what you can in there, just keep drawing cards, attack with what you have.
Yeah.
Attack with Basking Root Walla, pump it. You know, that's basically Delver.
Yep.
But it is that. You know, I do a lot of damage with. Am I interested in Control the Court? No. I'm just not interested in those random discard cards at all.
You don't like leaving the entire game up into.
I don't feel like you can practice with that for that reason. You know, you can't say. Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can get. It's basically going to be I'm not good enough at statistics and calculus to figure out on the fly if I resolve Control the Court or Goblin Lore with this many Vengevines and this many Hollow Ones, then I'm going to get this percent to get this much power in play.
I like your build better without having that random element in it.
Yeah. I played the blue build last week that had the Careful Studies. Is that Charms, which is pretty good. That's the one I'm sort of keyed in on, but I did play another straight red green build with main deck Blood Moon, and it was just sort of what you lose from not having the redundant looting effects.
Yeah,
you sort of gain this boom, the game's over.
Some free wins.
yeah, and the course free Vegas. That is true, and sometimes I forget that faithless looting is a draw, and I will just discard cards. We do have Roll Gorger Dragon combo in the tournament today.
Yep.
I'll try and make sure that later, if he gets I'll just make sure that
tell Tim to put him on camera again. That'd be great.
But yeah, I think if I can shore up a couple of problematic matchups, lands is really bad. Maze of Ith is just brutal against your 4/4.
Sure.
Tabernacle and all that stuff is really tough. I don't think that's salvageable. I think Storm is more likely to be salvageable. Like I could just put more, I could devote more of my sideboard to that than I currently do, and just have sort of a density of effects that can stop it. But against most of the fair blue decks, the hardest one is Grixis Delver, just because they have so many angles.
Right.
And
when it's one of the most widely played decks.
Yeah, it's one of the most widely played decks.
Right?
It's closer to 50-50, but check pile is almost a buy. They're so slow. They've got a lot of point removal.
Yeah.
Is that Charm is live against them because of they're trying to resolve 3 and 4 mana spells. So yes, with Azor's Gateway, he definitely has Azor's Gateway. I dropped off the Entombs and a Badlands for him, and I saw him have it out there. 5-drop, not salvageable. Oh, but here's a thing that came up though against Miracles. I almost jammed a hollow one into Counterbalance because I had revealed. I knew he had a Force of Will on top.
Okay.
And at the last second, I was like, "Wait a minute, hollow one's a 5."
It never costs 5.
It's like I resolved Faithless Looting, and he flipped it. It was a Force of Will, and I was like, "Oh, my Faithless Looting resolves, and that's a 5." So I can, do that. But
I like it. It's a fun deck. It does something different, right? You kind of get to manipulate. You're using the graveyard, but not in the way most Legacy decks use their graveyard.
Yeah, I would say it's not so graveyard dependent,
right?
And you sort of have to think, what graveyard interaction is my opponent likely to have? Because, for example, the card Rest in Peace is better against Hooting Mandrills than it is against Vengevine. I can always just tap 4 lands and put Vengevine on the battlefield, So, but I can't, like a Hooting Mandrills, I'm probably not getting up to 6, So you're casting Faithless Looting into an Archfiend. What's an Archfiend? Archfiend of If Near? That thing that minuses their whole team? Or is there some other sort of Archfiend?
HC Fox has got his pet everything cards.
I love Archfiend of If Near. I'd love to play it. Bins itself? Reanimate?
Somebody asked. Kyra's out of town today.
Yeah, Kyra's out of town. I'm sorry, I should have said something. And I'm about to go because I got to go to the airport.
Well, right on.
Thank you, Bryce.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
I will. I'm excited to see something fun next week from you, or Friday.
Yeah, probably next week, I think.
Okay. Would you move the life counter a little closer to the playmat?
Yes. Let me just finish tracking up this
game.
By playing, I mean playing.
On your way out. So you guys that are here with me, I'm just going to solo these next 2 rounds instead of trying to find somebody to get in here with me. It'll be fun. So you'll have to interact and say things like Archfiend of Ifnir, of course. HG Fox, I want to see this deck list that has Faithless Looting and Archfiend in it. What do I play in the real lifeness? Uh-oh. I told you, Captain QC. I warned you. I've been playing... So when I first started playing Legacy, that was back in the Stifle Wasteland days when top was a thing. And so I made the jump from decks like Jund in Modern into Sultai Control. And so I've been playing... And Sultai Control was great back then in a lot of ways. Not only was it a good deck, but it was really fun how you could change just a few cards and change the deck quite a bit. So I've been on either a Sultai or a Grixis or I've tried out 4-color but don't love it. I've played some blue-red Delver. I keep playing the Bayous and Underground Seas and Volcanic Islands, like a lot of people have been. But I like that you can throw in True Name Nemesises and Noble Hierarchs and become an aggro deck, or you can take all those out and put in Liliana of the Veils and become a control deck. So I've been kind of changing it up almost every other week or so. I play something a little bit different. Just the one that's further away from the mat. If you could just put it on all the way, or just touching, would be great. You did not believe me. Hey, thanks for joining me, Nate. I've tried out a couple other decks, but I keep coming back to Force of Will, blue card, Brainstorm decks. I like the challenge the sequencing challenge. Would Leovold still see play in Legacy if Brainstorm was banned? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Leovold's really strong. And there's a lot of draw effects in Legacy besides just Brainstorm. And if you think about it, if Brainstorm was banned, there would just be another draw effect replacing it in a lot of decks. And so Leovold's still really good. Leovold's great in that it replaces itself too. If you target it, you get to draw a card. Any odd card that I've been testing? That's a good question. I tried out playing Dak without Punishing Fire. That was incorrect. The reason Dak is good is because of Punishing Fire. I liked playing Bedlam Reveler. So I was playing the blue-red deck for a little while, blue-red Delver, and Bedlam Reveler is really strong, right, when you get it to work. So I started trying to go into a blue-red control-ish deck where you just have Revelers and Jaces. I found a list somewhere. I don't remember now where. And you just kind of dirtle for a while. You play Brainstorm and Ponder and Preordain, and you just play blue things and some counter spells, actual counter spells, and Force of Wills. And then eventually you try and resolve a Reveler. And there's no Pyromancers or Delvers or anything. And it felt pretty bad against Burn. So, yeah, well, it worked. It worked when you wanted it to. Like, it still played Lightning Bolt and stuff like that. We played it online and managed to almost do something decent with it. We should have this next round up here really soon here, guys. Time is over. But they were all just bad versions of other decks. That's often how I feel with Legacy. When you try and do something, unless you try and do something really outside of, like the Nyx Fit deck is something interesting and different. I'm a nice guy. Yeah, because I was playing bad decks and losing. Yep. That's how it felt. Last Friday, I successfully went 0-3 and got a bye in the last round because I had absolutely nothing going on in my deck. And my opponents were going, wait a minute, you pondered and you didn't shuffle and you drew more cantrips. And I'm like, yep. What did you think? I think the blue-red Delver actually is, the blue-red Delver Reveler deck, I think is actually a pretty strong deck. But what did you think about it at the open? Yeah, Nyx Fit is strong. I think it's some of its strength may come from players not knowing exactly what it does or how it does it, though. I think we've stolen wins with it. All right, so I think pairings just went up. Yeah, so in fact, if I went and played in the next GP, the Legacy GP, I think I maybe would play Blue-Red Delver, simply because I know that over the course of a full day, myself playing Grixis Delver, I think I would start making mental mistakes later in the matches. And I've cast a Price of Progress for 10 damage before when I was completely out of a game and steal wins with that. Yeah, Overwhelming Splendor is good. An Overwhelming Splendor, again, can cheat some wins in that you go, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this Rector and trigger it, and they go, okay, sounds good, and they're sitting with fetch lands and they're in play, and you play Overwhelming Splendor, and they go, oh, I'd like to crack these fetch lands in response. You're like, that's too late now. You don't get to do that anymore. Because they don't realize what Overwhelming Splendor. There's a lot of Legacy players that have probably never actually read the full card. Nyx Fit does fold pretty hard to an active Deathrite, but there's actually quite a lot of answers to it. We were playing Ground Seal in the sideboard, I think 3 of them, and then there's quite a bit of removal that can deal with an active Deathrite for sure. All right, so I've got players, but I don't know who they are. Looks like I've got Larry, and Larry is on World Gorger. And I don't know who Larry's opponent is. So let's start you off here and see if I can find out who's where. So this is round 3. Sorry, I'm over here chatting and not updating anything. So this deck, I'm going to pull up a World Gorger deck list because I know the combo, but I don't know the exact pieces. There was one on. Was there one on MTG Goldfish most recently? Let's see if I can find it. So it looks like we got some blue-red Delver, his opponent. You got Battle of Wits? That's amazing. Oh, hold on, let me fix that. I'm not going to find it. Okay, so I've got a deck list that's playing with 3 Walking Ballista, 1 Ona, Queen of the Fae, as a win condition, and then 4 World Gorgers and a Grizzlebrand, and then a whole bunch of reanimation effects. So I'll kind of be able to help you here with this deck. And his opponent is Joshua. Joshua, I believe, is on a blue-red. Now let's get the time right. There we are. All right, so Larry gets a Thoughtseize, and there's 4 of those. 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Collective Brutalities. And he might not have this exact 75, but some of the cards he was asking for, I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty much this list. And for our backup match, we have Paul playing lands and Crystal on that Eldrazi list. Sorry, let me get all this updated and then I'll get back to this. Normally I have somebody else to... All right. So what? Thoughtseize 8. Thoughtseize got Force of Will? Is that what happened? The open was nuts. Your round 1 was against the mono red Stompy. I wouldn't be surprised to see mono red Stompy or the mono red, prison decks day 1 at all. Not so much day 2, but it's possible one sneaks in. All right, this World Gorger combo could be pretty interesting to see if it actually combos off. Joshua should have a pretty quick clock. The World Gorger deck doesn't need a lot of non-basics or anything to combo. It doesn't need a lot of lands. So my point being that Price of Progress becomes a less of a win con, but Oh, just surprised it was your. Yeah, at an open though, you never know what you're gonna get. All right, so we get to see Larry's hand here. There's a Dark Ritual, an Ona, and a Dance of the Dead. So Dance of the Dead, I can pull it up if you guys want. You probably haven't seen that in a while. You probably all know what it does though. It's a there it is. It's got a bunch of text. Pretty much, it does an animate dead effect. And it's not as good as animate dead, but it works and it does the combo here because you don't care. Didn't mean to ditch me? Oh, you meant to. Yeah! Some of us even were brave enough to play it and figure out what all that text actually said. Storm Chaser Mage gets in for some damage, and Joshua get probed afterwards so that there was a prowess trigger there. That was his last turn. He's got Volcanic, and he's got a... Here comes a Swift Spirit. Looks like he's got a Brainstorm, a Fire Blast, which often just ends the game, and a Daze. Alright, so here's a prowess trigger. Yeah, I would be surprised to see a 250 card. That sounds like somebody giving a stipulation. Go play this in a open. You don't know what his deck was? Normally if you natural order a Dryad Arbor, you're playing elves, but there are a few natural order decks that aren't playing elves that there's like no fit, natural order fit. Alright, Brainstorm resolves. So I think Larry's just searching for an Entomb, really. But I'm not actually sure the sequencing on this deck. Losing to Battle of the Wits would have been rough. Wait, you lost to Natural Order and Battle of the Wits? See, that's fun though. You got to play against a variety of different things, right? It wouldn't be fun if every matchup was Delver and Deathrite and all right, a blind Cabal Therapy. And he's going to target himself, naming Grizzlebrand. So it's not really blind at all. And I wonder if Larry should have led with this Dark Ritual. Because the Dark Ritual could just get dazed here. I guess if it does, it just sets him up for the Dance of the Dead next turn. Look at all that text. It's neat. Yep, can stifle. Alright, so Dark Ritual gets dazed. Storm Chaser Mage. I think Brainstorm, that's 6, so he needs one more spell to win. But he's tapped out. So he's really close. That's 6 damage plus a Fire Blast. That's 10. What link are you linking here? Not found. It didn't work. Let's see if Larry can sneak out of this one. Yeah, I like this blue-red Delver list quite a bit. when I played it, it felt like I was just a little bit quicker than most of my opponents, and yet you still have some action against things like show and tell. Oh, okay. I didn't think of the prowess trigger there. That's game. I've played the deck and I did the math there. All right, so let's take a peek at our backup match. We've got Lands versus Eldrazi. This looks like game 2. When I was watching earlier, it looked like a different board state. But I'm not sure. Yeah. 3 prowess creatures attacking for 9, along with a free 4 damage. That feels like a lot of damage. So maybe Vesuva just copied Dark Depths? Okay. Yeah. Copying the stage, your Vesuva still comes into play tapped. But I don't think this is going to work out too well for Crystal. Maybe I'm wrong? Oh. 2020, Flying Indestructible, beats Eldrazi. That's a fun game plan, right? You've got a Dark Depths, I've got a Vesuva. Yeah. And now, if they're talking through that, that might be it. Maybe they're going to go to another game here. Yeah, this matchup does not feel good for Eldrazi. No, between Maze of Ith and just winning with 2020s and not being able to interact at all. Yeah. All right. So let's go from shuffling to shuffling. You can see Larry's already set to go. He's already sideboarded, and Joshua's over here going, wait a minute. I have no idea. He's got reanimation, but... Yeah, so I think Paul got that in 2-0. Let's see if I can update this score here for Joshua. Whoops. Tried to link it. Yeah, I couldn't. I clicked the link and it pulled up a dead link. Try it again. There we go. Now I can repost it for you. If you guys can't see that, there it is. This is what you played at the Open. A 1-0. You got a maybe board. I like it. Cabal Therapy main. Yeah, I like Cabal Therapy's main. They feel really good when they work. I don't love it at an Open, as opposed to playing it at like your own local shop where you know the metagame. Because like you were saying, or like somebody was saying, those early games, you have no idea. You sit down against your opponent and you're just guessing, and it doesn't feel as good. And sometimes you can guess correctly, sure, but yeah. All right, here we go. Game 2. With plenty of time left in the round. Those were some really fast games. After this match, if these guys finish up, I'll try and get somebody else on backup. Let's see. My timer isn't moving, is it? Where'd it go? I killed it. That's why it's not moving. Maybe there's not as much plenty of time as I thought there was. That's funny. There we go. Oh, there we go. World Gorder is not a great reanimator deck? What? Come on. So let me show you if you go to the bottom of this page in the Spice Corner is, I think, pretty close to his deck list. If you guys have no idea what's going on. So the point of this deck is you get out a World Gorger Dragon, you reanimate it out, specifically with an Animate Dead or a Dance of the Dead or a Necromancy, an enchantment. Because once you've done that, World Gorger exiles the enchantment and it creates a loop where you bounce all of your permanents over and over and over and over again. And that makes it so you have infinite mana because all your lands come into play untapped, and then you just get to keep tapping them and bounce them again using a stack. Then with all that infinite mana, you can use Azur's Gateway to draw your deck, and then you can play a Walking Ballista or a Ona and win. Thoughtseize takes out a Swift Spear, and Gitaxian Prose sees the dragon itself, a Faithless Looting, a Walking Ballista, and a Cut to Ribbons. Yeah, some Aftermath. So here again, it's just another win con. It's a thing that can kill something early, but more importantly, if it's in your graveyard after you've done everything, you using your infinite mana, Ribbons just wins. And I guess the idea here is that this deck, reanimation decks have to attack, and this one does not. I don't know that it's... I don't think it's better, but it looks fun. Alright, Faithless Looting discards the Cut to Ribbons and the Dragon. Aftermath comes reading. Is that what they say in high school? HG Fox, I haven't heard that one. Nick Fit is fun. I agree with you guys. I wish Nick Fit had just a little bit more, so that it would have some game against some of the decks that it just doesn't. It struggles with. It's the same thing with like Dead Guy Ale, right? Where if you don't get the early discard disruption, you just kind of lose, or can lose. It's out of your control. Delver flips over to a Git Probe after brainstorming. Convenient how that works. And just this real quick. Blue Fit. There you go. You just play Bant. Yep. Cut to Ribbons does work well. And if you can like hit their Deathrite Shaman, really, that's probably what you're wanting to cut with. And then you have it doubles as a kill spell. Bug Fit. Strixes and Leo. Yeah. That sounds fun. I tried playing with Kess when Kess was first printed, and it felt really good when I got it out. It often was a must answer, but it was just a one-off. All right, here we go. Here's a Dark Ritual from Larry. Joshua kind of has to counter this if he's got a Daze. If he's got a Force of Will, he can wait. think. Dark Ritual resolves, and then Larry looks at his hand. Okay, how about this one? All right, here's a Necromancy. There's probably two of us in this deck. You can choose to play Necromancy as an instant. He's not doing that. You choose a creature in your graveyard, and you play it as though it was just summoned. Neat. This one costs 3. So Joshua's going to respond with the Brainstorm. Binds of Days. What is Undercut to Ribbons? That's the World Gorger Dragon. That's the combo card. That's what he's trying to reanimate. I'll pull it up for you. So this is how the deck tries to get infinite mana. Is he playing this at the scale? I don't know. I don't think so. You were thinking was a better unplayable card. I like the better unplayable cards. I like it when there's a scale for the unplayable cards. It looks like Larry's unfortunately not going to get to do anything. The Grafdigger's Cage is probably going to stymie a lot of what he wanted to do. This deck plays, what, 15 lands? Not a high land count. You only need a few. You only need 2. Delver, and another Delver. And some Chain Lightning. It feels like this is going to be the end here pretty soon. I'm doing great holding down the fort. Well, I even got a follower. Look at that. Way to go, Coco Lopez. Some of you guys who are new, normally I have somebody here streaming with me, but I've got some people out of town this week. We do Tuesday Night Legacy every Tuesday night and also on Friday nights, just like this live Paper Magic, and then we're streaming some Magic Online throughout the week as well. So if you want, give us a follow. That way you can, the Magic Online streams are kind of vary what time of day. That way you can get a notification and see what time we're going live. Yep, Larry's just going to pick up the cards after another Flusterstorm. Never got a chance to actually combo off. We're going to have 4 rounds today, so one more round. Looks like we've got a full 25 minutes, so I'm going to try and get somebody else. As you can see, our backup match is already finished. And I'll have to stand up and try and find somebody real quick. It's a little tricky to find somebody who's either just about to start a game or is at the right spot to move. So I'll be right back, guys, and see if we can get somebody else sitting for you so we can see somebody. But only follow if you want. No, you have to follow even if you don't want. Have to. All right. As you can see, it looks like we got somebody that's just starting their next game. I have no idea who these players are or what they're playing. It'll be great fun. I had Tim get them to move. Or you could follow because Bryce will do a cartwheel on camera for each follow. Wow. Can I refollow? There's not enough room for me to do a cartwheel in here. I could do a neat trick with the camera that makes it look like I'm doing a cartwheel though. That clip is my favorite. Uh-oh. What clip? Alright, so these guys just drew their opening hand. Ooh, we've got some food chain. Brian is in the house and somebody's playing his food chain deck. So this is definitely not Paul. And I should know his name. But it just escaped me. I should know both of these players' names. It's not against Storm. We will discover together. All right, round 3. I'm guessing these guys are 1-1. Is it June on Dredge? That looks like a Dredge card. Sure. Some Dredge versus some food chain. He just runs out the LED. Whoa! Now you're just sad, just like that? For real magic? Dredge kind of doesn't feel like real magic, does it? Alright, so he's cracking his Lion's Eye Diamond to discard his hand. He has 3 floating mana and spells are moving around. Oh, he's doing this at the end of turn? So he's just discarding his hand? Is that what happened? And here's some Dredge. There's a bridge from below. Stockton. I knew Stockton. Stockton playing food chain. No, no real magic for you. No, we get to see we get to see a Force of Will on a Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy number 2. That was a pretty quick start for Dredge. When Stockton has to start forcing cards. I mean, he's pitching a Mistala Griffin, right? So it's kind of a free Force of Will. All right, did he whiff on the Cabal Therapy? Is that what happened? Brian might actually have a relic now. I don't think it's main deck, but this isn't game 1 anyway. I'm not sure what who's up. I think June played first, so I wonder if Stockton won the last game. There is a main deck relic. Baleful Strix. That doesn't really do much here. Draws a card. Yeah, Strix can exile a bridge. It's got to die. And like food chain doesn't, it exiles, so that doesn't work. Yeah, Brian got the masterpiece Relic of Progenitus I did in there. So it should just be in play right now. It should just be a part of things. I just wasn't sure if it was main deck or if it was sideboard. I like a Relic main deck though, that's cool. Some more bridges. An Narcomoeba that doesn't have a lot of action. There is a Dread Return in the graveyard, but nothing to return. One Trinket? Oh, I don't think he plays with a Trinket Mage. Alright. Some tokens. The start was a Lion's Eye Diamond, and then he just discarded his hand on Stockton's end step. Yeah. All right, so he's got plenty of mana here. He's got the food chain in hand. He's going to go Leovold. All Stockton's missing is the payoff card, right? He just needs a Walking Ballista. And then he wins. He's got one Mistala Griffin already in exile. June doesn't want to attack because then he loses his bridges, since a Baleful Strix or something would die. Not the complete blowout win that Dredge can do here. You can see he dredged a lot of lands. Why don't I remember every single one of? I do. I remember all of them. Most of that was Kyre. Oh, I'm not surprised. The reason there's lands below LED is because some cards got taken out. They got exiled, right? Here's a surgical extraction on the bridges. Okay. That probably works. That probably does what you want it to. Some cards got dredged out, and some cards got... oh, because of the placement? I see what you're talking about. Because you sacrifice it first and then discard your hand. So it should be there. That could be correct. I think you're right. I think I saw him discard his hand first. All right, here's a food chain. After surgically extracting the bridge from belows. No dredge at the moment. No more 2/2 zombies. Let's see if Stockton can pull this out. He's got almost everything he needs. He can put out a Griffin here. What he can do now is he can what he could have done with his Griffin is block and just keep sacking it and have an infinite blocker. Alright, here's another LED. No, I don't see... Between Leovold's shutting off Faithless Looting, I don't see what June can do. Oh, there is a replacement effect, huh, on Leovold, so you can still dredge. You can still use a Faithless Looting. Yep. Dredge number 2. Sneaky, getting around the Leovold. So we've got the Dread returns. And there's the resolution of Faithless Looting, discarding 2 cards. You could have some really large-ish Grave Trolls. They enter with a +1/+1 counter for each creature in your graveyard, right? There's not that many creatures in June's graveyard. There's a total of like 4 or 5. Deathrite Shaman number 2. And a swing, an attack. Okay. So, Brian, if you were here, would you have put out this Mistala Griffin by now? Instead of leaving it in exile? There's no reason not to, is there? Some more dredging. A whole bunch of lands, a whole bunch of misses. You hit the breakthroughs and the Lion's Eye Diamonds and some lands. Goodness. And now we've got some Deathrite Shamaning, taking out the Grave Troll. And he only gets 1. The other one just came down. Didn't it? Didn't that Deathrite Shaman just come down? Okay. Deathrite number 3. So here's plan B. Yeah, I'm just not sure enough that I didn't go stop them. There's an Iona. That could come out. You can't name Walking Ballista with Iona, but you can name Blue, which shuts off the Mistala Griffin. But Dread Return has to target, right? And so Deathrite Shaman's just going to shut that off. Goodness. What a weird Food Chain versus Dredge. Just how you expected, everybody expected it to be played just like this, right? So we've got under 10 minutes left. In round 3, we'll have one more round. These guys, I believe both of these guys are actually 0-2. They were just conveniently at the right place to move over as a backup match. Alright. Iona gets eaten. And a Grave Troll gets eaten. This time the Summoning Sick Deathrite doesn't do anything. Now we gotta figure out how to go up to 20 plus 20 with our life tags. Yeah, Dread Return is just dead. Yep. And if Stockton won game 1, then that's why June hasn't conceded, right? Is because you're just conceding the round. So he's still trying. Hardcasts, the Mistall Griffin from Exile. What beautiful death rights. They do look very nice. I agree. I'm with you, Batutsa. Brian Batusai is going to be ahead of you. He's going to have several Baleful Strixes that are altered. And they turned out pretty cool. I'm going to throw a picture up on my Facebook page here, I think, tomorrow. And I'll get those mailed out to you tomorrow. There it is. We got to see Sword of Magic be played. Right? Everybody had a good time. So, I would show you guys, normally on Tuesdays, I link and talk about This Week in Legacy. 4 Strix, 4 Deathrite, and 3 Ponders. Yeah! Oh, there is a new article out. We get a look at some deck lists. That'll be fun. While we wait for the next round here. One sec. So I haven't even looked at this article yet. He's talking about Masters 25 and how... Is that Eternal Witness? So the Eternal Witness is pretty sweet. That one was a little tricky. I think I would have gone a little bit different direction with it, but I was trying to work with the person who commissioned it to get them what they wanted, and sometimes that's really hard to do. So I'm satisfied with it. But if you guys go to my Facebook page, you can see a new Eternal Witness up there. And it's tricky working with Therese Nielsen art and trying to add to it or not take away from it. How about that? But it looks pretty good. I think I would have added a little bit more green and gone a little differently with it. What about? Let me show you. I just finished this Eternal Witness, and they wanted some green, some silver, but mostly white, making it really pop. And tried to satisfy. It was a little tricky, but I don't think I have anything else new yet up here. These are the ones I really enjoy doing. These type of somebody called them arcane circles, where there's this pattern that gets applied to the art, but the art stays and is still recognizable. So the idea being that they can still be legacy playable. So I've been slowly altering a Storm deck, I did a Belcher deck, and getting just started on a 4-color deck for some people. It's really fun. These were really fun to do. Really do something different and yet still have the art be recognizable. And so I've done some cards that you saw there for Brian's deck. That's where these Deathrights, that's what they ended up looking like. I get to use an airbrush and just subtly add something to the card. Really simple alters. Yep, I do all these. So this is my page. It's just facebook.com/feltalters. And you're welcome to send me a message if you're interested in something. It's really fun to do alters for people in the stream. Batusai, I've just finished some Baleful Strixes that look kind of like this. His are non-foil, and so they're a little different. But I'll post those up, I think, tomorrow. And it's the storm cards that I've done are headed off to the East Coast, but he found me and he's found talks about them from the stream as well. It's neat. All right. Let's see where we are. Yeah, unfortunately the Baleful Strix foils are expensive, just the pack foil by themselves, and you tack on an altar on top of that, and it's... All right, real quick, I'm going to look at some lists. Imperial Bombermans, Grixis Tezzeret, Jeske Stoneblade, check pile. This is interesting that he put up this article right after the GP without referencing the GP, I think, at all. Because I don't think any of these are from that. While we wait, I'll show you guys some decks. Which one are we going to look at? I usually jump right down to the bottom to see what's spicy. Pile. All right. Uh-oh. Did I freeze everything? That's not good. There we go. Here's a list. What is happening? It's got Bloodbraid. Neat. Mark's Value Train. It's just check pile with Bloodbraid Elf, but that's cool. So a lot of people in Modern tried to jam Bloodbraid Elf and Jace into the same deck right from the get-go in Modern when things got unbanned. So I guess that's what this is. It's just 4-color with a Knight's Whisper and Bloodbraid and Jace. There's no commentary on this one at all. It's just the spicy list that he's got up for now. I like it. All right, here's an interesting list. Let's pull this one up. So this is just This Week in Legacy. Often it comes out right on Tuesdays, and so I often pull this up on Tuesday nights when we're in between rounds. And they have a good way of showing off some cards here, right? Here's a Blue-Red Delver list. And this one's from Hyrule Legacy Holiday Cup. So the innovations here is Predict. There's 2 of Predict here. I actually quite like Predict as well. I was thinking of swinging that in a blue-red list, actually. There's also a Disrupt, which the author doesn't like. And then Weaver of Lightning. It's been a little while since we've seen that in the sideboard. It says it's good against Death and Taxes and other Delver decks, but doesn't do... Like, Grim Lavamancer was there before, right? So that's kind of strange. There's also Double Set Adrift. That's an interesting card. Huh. How about that list? 2 Predicts, 2 Set Adrifts, Disrupt, and then Pyromancers instead of... So this is a little different than what we just saw on camera, where you've got the Storm Chaser Mages here and maybe Revelers you're going for a little bit not quite as aggro. There's no fire blasts here, and no price of progress either. I think I prefer the playing price of progress and fire blast, especially when there's so much Grixis and 4-color running around. You really liked somebody's articles and wanted to hear their thoughts on the Open. Oh yeah. So I'm sure that he'll have an article for the Open. It's just the timing. That whole article was probably written before the Open finished. Singleton preordained, yeah. That's kind of an interesting list. I'm not sure how well it placed at what it said. Alright, so we should be pretty close to round 4. Maybe we're just waiting on somebody that's on turns. I guess I can keep going on more legacy lists. The other things were just commentary on what cards coming out of Masters 25. You know, it changes the price of Imperial Bomberman quite a bit, right? Because the recruiters drop significantly. You're still looking at LEDs and Mox Opals and City of Traders. So it's still an expensive deck, but it's not as expensive, I guess, if you already had all those things, and the one thing you didn't have was recruiters. Plus, I like the mono blue bomber, or the Esper Bomberman. I'm not sure if it's better, but that's, I guess I'm just used to playing blue cards, right? Alright, well, I'll pull one of these up since we're still waiting. Here's a Imperial Bomberman. Oh, it says Legacy FNM. That's a lie. Don't trust it. It's not. Just turn it off. This one does not play. Okay, so there's 3 Imperial Recruiters, right? So this one is, you get to Salvagers, and you salvage Lion's Eye Diamond for infinite mana. And then you play a Walking Ballista and win, right? And Recruiter lets you get everything you need, right? It lets you get Salvagers and Ballista. And then you have Mentor as well with all of these cantrips. Everything costs 0. This is one version. And then the other version looks like this one. Right? Or is this the one I just pulled up? No, that's got to be what I just pulled up. Yeah, here's this other one. Not nearly as many bauble effects. And you've got ensnaring bridges here and Chandras as well. No, it's almost the same amount of baubles actually. It just doesn't have the lotus petals. These are fun decks. You get to combo and win, and Lion's Eye Diamond in the graveyard. Using it that way feels like a faster, better way than the World Gorger combo that didn't get to do anything, right? When we were watching. All right, I'm back here. I still don't have anybody sitting down yet. I'm gonna ask how close we are. Since we should have already started round 4 here. All right. Tim says pairings are coming up now, so hopefully we get some games. We're just going to show the top matches. We had 18 players tonight. So we should have some players that are undefeated, and then a backup match of some players that are 2-1. All right, finally some pairings. And they're just getting seated. Thanks for sticking with me, guys, while we just kind of dirtled around there for a minute. All right. We've got, whoa. Sorry if that was really loud. It looks like we've got Stockton on food chain here. So this is probably our backup bench. And we've got Terry. We'll find out. Whoa, I did it again. Terry versus Calvin? And I don't have a start time, official start time, so I'll fix that round timer in just a minute. Is the food chain versus dredge match already over? Yeah, it is. Good news, a local game store in your area just opened and you get to visit it tomorrow. That is some good news. We have a problem of too many game stores here. All right, we've got Paul versus Josh Snow and Calvin versus Terry. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys pick. We have Delver versus Four Color. That's what you're seeing right here. Or Miracles versus Lands. I believe Miracles versus Lands is our undefeated. But if you would rather watch some Four Color versus Delver action, Miracles versus Lands, Delver. 1 vote each. 1 vote each. Oh, we got more Lands votes. I like how you don't even care that it's Miracles. It's just Lands. Oh, okay. Here we go. We'll switch over. We got Josh on your left, Paul on your right, and we'll have the other match as a backup. Always Lands. What? Always? All right. He says always Lands. We can't see the life totals with Terry moving it. There you go. Heat. That is silly. That is very silly. We're going to watch this other match anyway. It looks like Paul is going to mulligan. See, we wanted to watch the match that has more mulligans. Yep. It just bugged Terry. Hey, Terry, put that back. Oh, no, we're not watching your match, but put it back anyway. Sorry, I think you got outvoted. I didn't actually keep track, but I saw lots of people voting for Lance. Or maybe just one person voted for Lance several times and I didn't pay attention. Dragon Knight, obviously you're playing with the wrong 100 lands. You need to pick better 100 lands than the ones you're playing with. Bug Terry or did I put Terry on both? Is that what I listed him? No, I didn't. You're mean. All right, we got a Mishra's Factory from Paul versus a Flood Strand. Round 4, Tuesday Night Legacy. Come on, guys, it doesn't get any better than this right here, unless you're actually playing Magic somewhere instead of watching it. That might be better. Ah, but which art, Dragon Knight? Which art? Counterbalance. Ooh, Jorgensen with the intelligence. Or maybe not intelligence, I'm not sure. Mistress Factory beatdowns, everybody. Brian. I'm on my way right now. It's fabulous. Can you ban the owner of the stream? Can you ban the mod? Right. I think Terry has been bothered by me enough. I don't think I need to bother him anymore. I get it. Bug Terry because he's playing Bug. Yeah, I get it. Except he's on 4 color. All right. Paul's got successfully a Thespian stage, 2 lands, and a Dark Depths. Because that just has how lands plays. Josh, on the other hand, is going to try and find some answers. Oh, there's a Terminus. Can he make it work? Look how we got glare suddenly. Where'd that come from? They're like in the dark over there. And yet there's glare. All right, here's a brainstorm. He just needs to set it up perfectly. Which I think he can do. Do it, says Palpatine. You just quoted... Let's see if I can for like 16 seconds here. Well, I don't think I can. All right. I looked away for 6 seconds and now there's a blinding bright card. So did he put Terminus back on top? Here's a copy. Oh, no. He copies something else. Neat. Josh draws his Terminus. I can hear these guys laughing. They're having a good time. Oh, that's been stage number 2. And Josh is just doing nothing. He has to just ride out this Terminus. Eventually Paul's going to be able to say, all right, you don't have, like, he could have just done it, right? As long as he doesn't have another brainstorm to put it back on top. Terminus isn't going to be fast enough. Somehow we got on prequel memes. I don't know how we did that. Important. Shuffle. Very exciting. Very riveting magic right here. Yeah, it is your fault. Because you said do it. All right, we gotta watch Josh think about things. Hey, look what you found. Brian, you must be really bored. Has Brian ever said this much in chat before, ever? Snapcaster Mage says, I found a brainstorm. Is Miracles favored in this matchup or in this exact spot? Is that what you're asking? I think Josh has the ability to interact with this first Merit Lage, whether it's like he's leaving white up, right? So it could just be a Swords to Plowshares, and so that's why I think that's why Paul is holding off. What Josh is actually doing though is he's leaving Terminus on top so that he could draw it during Paul's upkeep. But Paul's onto that. As far as the matchup goes, I think it's fairly 50-50, actually. Paul can bring in Choke out of the sideboard, and I've seen him win with that. So we had a 1K back at the end of the year last year, and these two players met in the finals of that. And Choke, I think, single-handedly won the matchup. Otherwise, Josh's main deck maybe has more game. It's a little slow, but yeah. So these are two of our better players consistently in our store. And they often, just like here, end up seeing each other in round 4 on Tuesdays. So they've played this matchup quite a few times. And Josh is off to a pretty slow start, but he's got the right things to interact. Whereas Paul's off to a really slow start, other than having the actual combo on board, right? He doesn't have any loam, he doesn't have any wastelands or ghost quarters. None of that's happening. Okay, here's a crop rotation. So finally, some actual action here. And Josh lets the crop rot resolve. Kyr is influencing me. Hashtag not sorry. Kyr. Did he actually say hashtag not sorry? Did he say that out loud? Because that's kind of weird. I don't talk like that. Hashtag, at least not yet. 3 thespian stages. I bet he did. One of these stages is probably going to successfully copy a Dark Depths. Ponder. Sees a Jace. And another Terminus. Like it went back and then got shuffled. He doesn't want those. Are we going to see some Snapcaster beatdowns right here? We haven't this whole time. Land number 6 from Josh. Yes, he actually did say hashtag not sorry. Oh dear. Alright. Stage, copying factory. Neat. Josh discards to hand size. So sometimes it's fun to, when you're watching a match like this, try and really analyze the exact line, exactly which card you should get. I actually just enjoy watching these guys do it. They know what they're doing better than I do with these decks by far. And almost any guess I make about which card they should be aiming for or getting, or the play they should be getting, is probably just wrong. So instead of the usual me trying to figure out the line, I'm just going to kind of watch with you guys here. He discarded a white lens due to hand size. It makes it more interesting when you have no idea what it is, right? Here's a factory attacking, and one of those stages I think is a factory, so it could be for more than 2. There is a flare. I think there is a flare card. All of the stages are factories right now. Did every single one get copied? Yeah. So it could be potentially a 5/5. He tapped 1 for the mana though, so a 4/4 here. The ultra foil terminus. I'd like my foils to be blinding. Can I get a light source in my card, please? Cycle. Just to cycle, not to dredge or do any trickery. Did we not even get an attack? Was there no damage? I'm not sure what I missed there. Alright. Factory becomes a creature. It's swinging. Snapcaster is going to think about dying. Swords to Plowshares a factory. Goodbye, one factory. He uses the Maze of Ith to untap his factory and pump it to gain a little bit extra life. The probably totally irrelevant extra life. Yeah, that factory is never coming back. It's gone forever. And a life of the loam. Counterbalance first. We got so counterbalance trigger and then a fetch. Josh goes down to 13. Here's as good a time as any while we're fetching. If you guys haven't, go ahead and give us a follow. We're here Tuesday nights and Friday nights. Is Josh going to Seattle? No, Josh is not a fan of GPs. He doesn't like the... I don't know if he likes anything about it. He doesn't like the value. There's quite a few players, I think, who look at GPs and go, that would be neat, but it's really expensive, and even if I win, I don't get much out of it. So he's a hard no on that. But there are several people here. Yeah, what value? Correct. I know that Brian's going, Kyer's going, I might be going. I think Paul is actually going. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's several other people here that are planning on going to Seattle. You're welcome to... I can figure out a way for him to... You can whisper me and I can pass it on or something like that. He's also in a Discord on Miracles, I believe, but I'm not a part of that, so I can't send you a link to that one. Did we see a Snapcaster attack? That's great. That was neat. Everybody's having a good time now. Josh is sitting on multiple Force of Wills, at least one Terminus, and other cards. Yeah. Yep. We tried to have it happen, and then he went out of town or something like that instead. He used his vacation time to go out of town during the holidays. Ah, there you go. I'm not cool enough to rate the Miracles Discord channel. I don't think he's done Eternal Dirtles. I don't think so. Hey, it's a Search for Iskanta. I found part of it. I found the searching part of it. Hey, there's a link to the altars I was showing you guys earlier if you want to look at altars. Or if you want to message me about doing altars. There's a Merit Lage. Finally. Turn 500. Paul pulls the trigger now that he has a Life of the Loam. And he just is going to draw a card, though. If only there was someone here that could influence. I know, Nate was just here. Oh, you're talking about somebody else here. I don't know what you mean. Swords to Plowshares. Paul gains a bunch of life. Dark. Josh says trigger on the counterbalance. In response to the Dark Depths. These guys are having fun. That's how Magic should be. I don't think I would be enjoying if I was playing lands versus miracles. And these guys enjoy it. Search for Iskanta flips over. Everybody in chat, if you want to, you can find it. I'll let you. Oh, I keep bumping the microphone because I'm sitting in the middle. Oh, look, right there. Kyra would be proud. I found it first. Yeah, Jorgensen found it 4 times. All right, here's Merit Lage number 2. Because when one Mirror Lage isn't enough, you can make another one. Attack for 20. Josh is going to start searching. He's going to find forces and a ponder. Does he have an answer here? He has a Snapcaster Mage and 2 of Swords. All right, Paul's at 60. Just a nice round number. Oh, first he goes to 50, and then 60. 60 to 12. It's completely fair and equal matchup. Oh, I got to do this Kyre thing where we move this found it thing all over the place just to be obnoxious. Look at this. Look at this equal matchup here where Paul's got 3 permanents and Josh has 400. And yet, is Paul still ahead? I don't think he is now. There's at least 1 more Swords in the graveyard, right? So the other Snapcaster is still alive. Whoa, Brian found it some number of times. Paul might die to Jace at 60, it's true. Life of the Loam gets countered. Wasteland takes care of Search. Goodbye, Search. I mean, Azcanta. It wasn't Search anymore. Whoa, what'd I do? I broke it. There we go. Don't mind me. Just clicking over things. Tried to turn Search for Azcanta off and way misclicked. Just making sure you guys are all still awake there. Is everybody awake? Wow. All right, there's a ponder. And Snapcaster Beats. Mace of it. Triggers one of them. Down to 58. Hey, I didn't destroy the stream. I've done that before. I've accidentally clicked the stop streaming button. This time it was just a... Ooh, gamble on top. This is a Jace Fate Sealing, and he says, sure, you can have your gamble, because it's a fair Magic card. Life of the Loam. Gets countered somehow by counterbalance. It seems like an effective game plan, right? If Paul's entire strategy is just to Life of the Loam, and you just get to keep a 2-mana card on top successfully. Paul scoops it up at 58 and 54 life. He's had enough. What a game. He should have just scooped and gone to sideboarding. So, I mean, you get to see there where between, at least for game 1, where Swords to Plowshares plus Snapcaster is enough that Paul has to respect it. He waited for Life of the Loam before he started going, and then it didn't matter. All right, our backup match. We've got Terry on your right, playing some 4-color. Calvin on the left. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the GP winning list or something very close to it, playing Grixis Delver. He's been playing some version of Grixis or Punching Thieves or 4-color on and off. Now I am. Good. That's fabulous. Let's see if we can see what's going on here. We've got a couple elementals from Young Pyromancer on one side. On the other side, we've got lands in front and a Tasigur, a Leovold, and a Deathrite Shaman, and life totals that aren't even being used. Neat. I'm pretty sure Terry just won that one. I'm not 100% sure, though. So now we get to go into the fun shuffling phase. So that was game 1, probably, based off of the way these guys are digging right back into their sideboards. was a long game one. And our other match is also shuffling, but they're going to get done faster. Why would you play Tasker in a format with Caracas? That's a good question. I think most people don't. Partially for that very reason. You do get some decent effect with Tasker though, right? The ability is not non-existent. Yeah, no idea. It's over. It ended before. I don't think they were even using the life totals. I think they were just writing down because they were both at 20. I wouldn't play Tasker. Clabian. I would much rather play Gurmag or the Flyer one. Wow. 2 black for plus Delve. Tombstalker. Both of those I think are very strong. Yeah. That one. Round 4. Can't think anymore. Cards go out the window. Terry, I think, just has a few cards that he wants to try out. He's got a Knight's Whisper that he's playing, and a few other one-ofs that are a little, not necessarily spicy, but they're different. Yeah. And similarly, Tassiger looks really bad against an opposing angler. I'm not sure if Terry's pulling from a list or if he's just, it's his own kind of take on it. So everybody's got pet cards that they like to play, right? And we don't have a lot of Death and Taxes here. That doesn't mean there's not Caracas, right? Because there is still from Nick Fit and other lists, but we get some ebbs and flows, and Death and Taxes right now is definitely on the downtick here. I don't think he did the whole shuffle in all the cards. Why don't I know? I do. I just told you the complete reason why he's playing it. Just because he wants to. I think that's really the answer. Yeah. Yeah. Just like Knight's Whisper. Trying it out. Yep, I kept trying different variations of Bedlam Reveler decks, and they just kept getting worse and worse. It was wrong. I like the card though. When it works, it feels really good. It's kind of fun to make your opponent bring in sideboard hate too, and then take the Revelers out, and have it be the only card that cares about your graveyard whatsoever. Yeah, those are the new Dragon Shield sleeves. They absolutely are. According to Brian, who's I think still in chat, they're the current best sleeve. He beat up many of your lands? Oh, man. Brian says the sleeves are incredible. Now I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, I tried the Teamer. Well, okay. Is it really Teamer Reveler? I tried the deck that has... It's blue-red Reveler with Punishing Fire and a single green card, right? But yeah, I actually like that list. I thought it was pretty good. Brian plays Food Chain, and his Food Chain deck doesn't currently have those sleeves on it, so I don't know. They had them at the open, but only the one art. I haven't tried them out yet myself. All right, here we go. Game 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh can play around choke this time. I bet you he doesn't want to lose like that again. Yeah, triple sleeving is silly. No. No calm faces. He triple sleeve them on stream. There's like 4 different arts in store, right, Brian? Here? You've got? All right, so Josh has already played Ponder. Here's a predict. He predicts a Ponder. And draws Mountain Snapcaster. 3. There's 3 in store right now. And then I think there was maybe 2 more on the way. I was only half listening. Yeah, I might have to get some perfect hards as well. When you're playing with some foils and some not foils and blah. Crop rotation goes and finds Dark Depths. Surprise! Oh, and he's just pulling the trigger right away. 2020. Swords to Plowshares. So that's what he was trying to avoid last game. This time, I guess Paul was running the numbers saying, hey, last time it didn't work for me to wait, so this time I'm going to try and go quicker. And that didn't work either. But he's at 38. Yeah, I like playing in drafts when I don't care at all about the cards that I play with, because then I get to actually shuffle and shuffle Magic cards and play with Magic cards. It feels really good. I enjoy that quite a bit. An entire graded deck that was in plastic. We got the riveting talking about sleeves right now in chat. You guys are just going deep. Here we got Miracles versus Lands, and sure enough, just as I expected, conversation has devolved into sleeves. Double sleeving is easier because then if you put perfect fits on every card, then you can just move them around. It's much, I prefer it. You don't have to worry about it. It's even better when you go to trade with somebody and all your cards are perfect fitted, and the cards they're trading are perfect fitted, and you just don't have to worry about it. I think there was somebody with a Taking Turns deck that was quad sleeved on an SCG stream once. No, the Port Flies are bad. Don't do that. We got to resolve Jace, who fate sealed. It's round 4. I like it. So this Jace is probably pretty effective here, right? We've got a Snapcaster in hand for Josh. We know that there's 1 Swords to Plowshares in that bright, glaring graveyard, and that's all I really care about. Life of the Loam is resolving. Getting back stage, depths, and a land. Yeah, it's funny how you quad sleeve a foiled Taking Turns deck, and yet every single legacy deck there is more expensive. Stage. So I don't think Paul is going to successfully be able to cut Josh off of white mana. He's going to just brainstorm here, though. Ooh, there's a Surgical Extraction. Yeah, I just saw a post of that. You have to win a sealed event, I believe, or something else in order to qualify for the beta draft. And I think there's also going to be an unlimited draft. Yeah, you have to win to get in. That's a good way to sell some sealed events, right? From the ashes. Takes out, so is the play here to surgically extract this stage right now? Or is he just gonna surgical loam? I sure hope that if they do this beta draft and they hype it enough, that they show it on camera. Like, seeing a Rochester draft on camera would be pretty fun. As far as I know, they haven't broadcast a full Rochester like that, where you get to see the entire table. They've just shown a single person's draft, right? But of course they're not Rochester, so that makes sense. But if you're gonna do a beta draft, you could splurge for some cameras and make it work. You think so? No, I think they could time the draft, though. They do for everything else. The unbanned modern top 8 at SCG Con. Yeah, that could be fun. It could be entertaining. The first 30 minutes or so is fun to watch. Yeah, but you'd want to see what the next packs are, and then you'd want to see what the third pack is. So it would still be riveting, even if it was boring as everything. Monastery Mentor. Win condition online. Goes down to 19. Halloween Party! Thanks for the follow. You are the follow of the current moment. Well done. Nobody else has followed right when you did. Oh, that's right. They do more than because it's beta. Yeah, we did there was a revised draft here, and I think they did 4 packs each. You just don't get enough playables. There's too many basic lands, and at least in revised. I don't know what the count is. It's the same thing for beta, though, right? You're going to Gen Con and Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if we keep seeing more and more things. A beta draft is neat, but that's not something that everybody gets to enjoy. Might be surprised if we see some other surprises coming up here. It didn't say in the little thing how many packs they were going to be doing, but I don't think 3 packs is enough to get enough playables to make a 40 card deck. Or at least not a good one. Okay, code 21, Brian. Good job. Here's that surgical extraction, sure enough, hitting stage. A little bit slower than I would have thought he was going to do it, but... Absolutely, Halloween Party. If you're new here, which I guess since you just followed, I'm going to assume you are. This is round 4. Normally I have somebody here casting with me, but we're here every single Tuesday night and Friday nights as well, streaming live Paper Magic. We start at about 7 p.m. and that's Mountain Standard Time, 7:30 on Fridays. And then we'll also be doing some Magic Online streams throughout the week. Yeah, I'd be curious too. Or do they assemble the packs? Like, are they repacked from collections? I'm sure there are enough beta packs still in existence that they could do it, but that is curious. The vintage MTG where they did the walkthrough of the store. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta try and spread our name out here just a little bit more. We'll try and get some more people in here with you guys. There's an attack for some number of prowessness. Paul was at an exorbitantly large life total, so he just goes down to 28. But it's a clock. Now that he can't make a 2020, he's going to get back a Punishing Fire. Okay. There are an abundance of magic shops here in Utah, in the Salt Lake City area. And I've been to quite a few of them, and I much prefer playing here at this one. The environment and the people and the just the overall thing. It's a good time. So I agree with you. Ah, did Nate post that today? He was streaming with me earlier. He was casting with me. Normally I'm a little bit more into these games, but round 4 I usually get a little bit distracted on the exact play-by-play. And like I said earlier, these guys, these two particular players, know their decks way better than I do. So sometimes it's more fun just to sit back and watch instead of trying to analyze every line. Here's an attack. Mentors and mentees. No, that doesn't make sense. Monks and a mentor. Just move! It's not that crazy. Clabian, where are you from, sir? Or not, sir? I just assume. This matchup is kind of boring. I offered to show you guys something different. Yeah, Nate's great. He shows a bunch of different brews, a variety of different things. And I think that does it here. Josh is going to take this down. Our other match is right in the middle of something crazy. New Hampshire, that's close. All right, here we are. I believe Terry won game 1. This could very easily be game 3 now by this point. We've got a true name and 1 elemental on Calvin's side. On the other, Terry's playing with his lands in front, so those are in play. He's got a Tassiger, a Snapcaster, and 2 Deathrite Shamans. You requested Delver? Here it is. Actually, there might not be any Delver. I don't see any Delvers. I cheated. I went with what the majority said, just because the majority all left. Yeah, we have no idea life totals. That's great. Here's a dismember. F&M promo dismember on Tassiger. You can never have enough Terry and Calvin, even if you have no idea what their life totals are. Cool. All right. Calvin's going to write down a new life total. So he's some number less. He's 2 less than what he just was. Yeah. Oh, don't mind me. There's a Delver. You guys asked for a Delver. There's one. It's even foil and shiny. Because I think everything Calvin plays that he can is foil and shiny. Calvin always has it? Is that the spoiler? I don't know. Terry's beaten me a significant number of times. Here's a Deathrite. Deathrite times 2. Hitting Calvin down 4 less life. He's at some single-digit number of life. And that was it? Maybe? That was the end? He went from a positive life total to not positive anymore. And I'm pretty sure Terry just ended the game. Yeah. You can see they both say 20. Yeah, they weren't using the life total. They were just writing numbers down. I haven't used the flip life total things yet, so I don't know how annoying they are to use. Eventually, I think we'd like to get like a digital life counter there that you'll be able to see really nicely. But these ones you can read really well when they're actually in the screen. So that's going to do it for 4 rounds of Legacy. We had a World Gorger Dragon combo on screen, and it unfortunately when it was on screen it didn't actually get to combo. Similarly, we had a Nyx Fit variant versus lands, and it didn't get to Nyx Fit. They aren't that annoying. Well, you would say they're not that annoying, Brian. You like the idea. I don't know. We saw lands versus miracles. We saw miracles versus 4-color just very briefly. And Josh was our undefeated player, I believe, with miracles. Do it. So thanks for joining me, guys. And thanks for joining me and Nate earlier. I'm sure Kyre will be back here next Tuesday, as he's just out of town right now. So I will be back here as well with him next Tuesday night. And then we'll be doing a paper stream on Friday night. And you guys are awesome. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.